a huge difference.
I'm Brian Craig.
Customer service.
It's our top of the hour break. That clock is,
hardware store.
I guess it's right.
Experienced people that are working
Welcome, welcome,
our
everyone.
employees are just top notch. They're very experienced.
We're live
They know their business.
every weekday morning from 6 until 9 a.m. Eastern. This is the most conservative pro-Trump radio show anywhere.
They'll find you the right project, the right pieces, the first time, so you can get in and out with the right material.
There are lots of Ace Hardware stores, but there are only 2 that are advertising with the Steve Kane Show. We're talking about the Deerfield location, quarter of a mile south of Hillsborough Boulevard on the west side of Federal.
My One America News shirt.
Beach Ace Hardware, located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, a half block west of A1A in Lauderdale by the Sea. Very, very special locations. Be sure to mention Steve Kane sent you.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry.
I don't know. I moved some of the equipment around, and it's.
With a revocable
I don't know. I forgot my Trump flag. I gotta get my Trump flag in here tomorrow.
$450
Is this gonna reach over here?
When you complete your trust with Attorney Barry Siegel, he will give you a $100.
Yeah, I moved around some things, and I'm not
in Coral Springs.
all that happy with it.
With offices throughout Broward, Palm Beach, and Dade County. Call toll free 1.
Let me play one more commercial and move everything back.
3782.
Are you suffering from decreasing energy?
Hold on, let's do this.
Pain, a foggy mind, an unsatisfactory sex life, or any of the symptoms of the aging process? Good news, folks. These processes are completely
This might be a little better.
There's 20 years of experience in age management medicine. Dr. Matez can offer safe, effective protocols that will work for everyone.
There we go.
The Boca Raton Center for Age Management offers hormone replacement therapies, intravenous.
I moved things around a little bit. If you're new here, subscribe.
Other cutting-edge modalities that rejuvenate the human body and give you back the vigor of youth. If you want to get back to feeling good, looking good, and functioning well, call Dr. Matez at the Boca Raton Center for Age Management at 561-953-5490. That's 561-953-5490.
Hey, Chuck, good morning.
Or visit their website at brc4am.com. That's brc4am.com for the Boca Raton Center for Age Management.
Here we go.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show.
That's
the
right.
Steve Kane Show.
Hey, Jeff. Hey, Chuck.
Show toll free.
Everyone else? Yes, yes. That's the number. Alrighty. Welcome to the show, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, 5 minutes after 6 o'clock in the morning. It is Tuesday morning, July 21st, 2020. This is The Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Also, the most pro-Donald Trump radio show anywhere in the world, I promise you that. And, of course, you can watch us live stream on YouTube. Just search Brian Craig on the YouTube. You can watch us live stream there. We have a very active chat room there. And, of course, listen to us on the radio. We broadcast live from 6 until 9 a.m. Monday through Friday with overnight rebroadcast midnight till 6 a.m. on AM 1470, 95.3 FM, 96.9 FM, and 103.9 on the FM radio dial. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So much going on, so much happening. Here we are, you know, all these phony polls. I knew that Trump is winning for a whole lot of reasons. But there's a big poll going on right now that you don't realize so much. And the poll is, what the heck is going on over at the Fox News channel? Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, Ed Henry, Howard Kurtz even. They've got them jammed up in allegations from, there's 2 women from Fox News. We're going to get into the details of this. They are attempting to bring down the most powerful pro-Trump conservative voices on cable news. That, of course, is Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson. If things were going well for them, they wouldn't be using all these dirty tactics. And Tucker Carlson was back from his long-planned trout fishing vacation yesterday. And brought something up on his show, which I'm going to play for you, which is some of the most frightening, disturbing content I have ever heard on cable news. You know, Tucker Carlson, when it came out a few weeks ago that Tucker Carlson was not only number one in cable news, he was number one in the history of cable news. And again, I always must say this, we are even talking about the days of Larry King Live when Larry King had no competition. And he's very, very good at what he does. He's very, very popular. He's close to the president. He's pro-Trump. Not one of these never-Trumpers running around pretending. And they're out there trying to bring him down. And, of course, Sean Hannity, too. Ed Henry is helping them along a little bit with his problems. We're going to get into all this stuff. They even have a rape allegation against one of the Fox News guys, Ed Henry. Before we get into the details of that, though, Tucker Carlson revealed something on the air that the left and the mainstream media establishment are about to do to him and do to his family that is so far over the line. I mean, it would break the meter. If you were metering, you know, if you had a gauge, it would break the gauge. And I'm going to play this for you because it needs to be heard. It needs to be out there. People need to know what's going on. And what they're doing to Tucker Carlson and his family in the mainstream media, talking about New York Times in particular, is so far over the line, I couldn't even measure it. If we did have that gauge, I wouldn't know how to measure it. So let me pull this up. Let's play this. This is frightening for anyone, but in particular for Tucker Carlson, especially after what just happened with that St. Louis couple. They're trying to get rid of Hannity. They are trying to get rid of Tucker Carlson. And they are looking to further reshape Fox News. They've already got the news division, for the most part, in the left-wing pocket, okay, of the mainstream media. Now they're moving towards the prime time where they're most powerful, and they're doing it on the eve of an election. This is Tucker Carlson. This is last night on the Fox News channel. Listen to this. This is frightening.
Last week, the New York Times began working on a story about where my family and I live. As a matter of journalism...
I mean, think about that. You know, this reminds me, this is what they did to Sarah Palin. Remember after the election, that liberal reporter rented the house next door to Sarah Palin's house in Alaska? Do you remember that? And Todd and his guys they went down and got some wood out of the forest of Alaska, and they built this fence or something, you know, to block it. And she had already lost the election because they were afraid she'd be coming back. And now Tucker Carlson, they're doing something very similar, but in many ways worse.
Last week, the New York Times began working on a story about where my family and I live. As a matter of journalism, there is no conceivable justification for a story like
Dallas.
that. The paper is not alleging we've done anything wrong. I mean, we haven't. We pay our taxes, we like our neighbors. We've never had a dispute with anyone. So why is the New York Times doing a story on the location of my family's house? Well, you know why. To hurt us. To injure my wife and kids so that I will shut up and stop disagreeing with them. They believe in force. We've learned that. 2 years ago, a left-wing journalist publicized our home address in Washington. A group of screaming Antifa lunatics showed up while I was at work. They vandalized our home. They threatened my wife.
Yeah, that's where I'm going with
she
this.
Called
You're right.
911
That's what I
hiding
think too.
in a closet.
I agree with you.
A few weeks later, they showed up again at our house. For the next year, they sent letters to our home threatening to kill us. We tried to ignore it. It felt cowardly to sell our home and leave. We raised our kids there in the neighborhood, and we loved it. But in the end, that's what we did. We have 4 children. It just wasn't worth it. But the New York Times followed us. The paper has assigned a political activist called Murray Carpenter to write a story about where we are now.
I mean, how is that news? And they put the New York Times has one guy just on this story of where Tucker Carlson lives. You know, if Tucker Carlson was, I don't know, if this was the equivalent over at MSNBC, if this was Rachel Maddow and there was some conservative outlet doing this to Rachel Maddow, I'd be doing the same thing on the radio this morning that I'm doing now. This is wrong. It is dangerous. It is intimidation. It is threatening. They're bullies. They're bullies. They're trying to run Tucker Carlson off television. Okay? They're stalking him. They're in danger, especially after what happened in St. Louis recently. And there's a past incident that he just talked about where his wife was hiding in the closet when they went to his house a couple years back.
Where we are now. They've hired a photographer called Tristan Spinsky to take pictures.
Big Cajun
Their
princess.
story about where we live is slated to run in the paper this week. Editors there know exactly what will happen to my family when it does run. I called them today and I told them, but they didn't care. They hate my politics. They want this show off the air. If one of my children gets hurt because of a story they wrote, they won't consider it collateral damage. They know it's the whole point of the exercise, to inflict pain on our family, to terrorize us, to control what we say. That's the kind of people they are. They'll deny this, of course. They'll claim it's just journalism, just the facts. Really? So how would Murray Carpenter and his photographer Tristan Spinsky feel if we told you where they live? If we put pictures of their homes on the air? What if we publicized the home address of every one of the soulless robot editors at the New York Times who assigned and managed this incitement to violence against my family? What about the media editor, Jim Windolf? We could do that. We know who they are. Would that qualify as journalism? We doubt they'd consider it journalism. They'd call it criminal behavior if we did it. And that tells you everything.
Okay, yeah, and there's a hashtag going on, and if you should take part in this, it's hashtag I stand with Tucker. I just saw that this morning. I stand with Tucker. Tucker Carlson, I don't care what your politics are. How could you say that this was anything other than threatening, intimidation, bullying? You know, the left are everything they think they're against. Well, I don't know. They are the perpetrators of everything they say they are against. This is one of the most irresponsible, dangerous things I've ever heard from the mainstream media. And the New York Times is supposed to be the gold standard of what journalism is. And they are endangering Tucker Carlson's entire family. And, you know, what they're doing, this is stalking. And, you know, stalking is something that many of us, I'm not going to give any detail, that many of us in this line of work have dealt with. There have been people in media and in other forms of entertainment that have left over fears from stalkers. And that's what they're hoping to do to Tucker Carlson. They're trying to run Tucker Carlson off of television by endangering his family and hoping that for the good of his family, he'll leave TV. Now, if these polls were real, if Trump was losing, would they be doing this? Of course not. Because if they were really winning and the president was really losing, they'd want to keep the status quo up there, and Tucker would be helping them win. It's another example that we're winning. This is some of the most irresponsible journalism I have ever heard. And I hope a reporter, one of the good reporters from One American News or someone else, asks the president in his press conference today about this. I'm sure he's aware of it. I'm sure he saw it last night. Let's hear your thoughts on this. Our number, 1-888-GO-CANE 1. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call from anywhere, no matter where you're listening to us, no matter where you're watching us online, no matter where you're listening online, or, of course, on one of our South Florida radio stations. You can also, of course, get us at that number, 1-888-GO-CANE 1. It's Kane with a K, K-A-N-E, and the number 1. You know, the primetime lineup at Fox News, the two white guys there at night, Hannity and Tucker, they're really in trouble right now. They're in trouble right now. They're trying to destroy their lives. We're going to talk more about this when we get back. I'm Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back.
Have you ever picked up a towel set because it felt really soft in the store, but when you use it, it's not very absorbent. It's basically a towel that's leaving you out to dry. Mike Lindell, Trump supporter and inventor of MyPillow, has developed a towel that actually works. Towels that actually dry you. MyPillow is debuting the MyPillow
Pretty outrageous.
6-piece
If you
towel
are
set
new
that
here,
includes 2 bath towels,
please
2 hand
subscribe.
towels,
Click the
and 2
notification
washcloths.
bell.
They come in a variety of colors. And right now,
You're
when you
all
buy one
welcome to
set,
call
you get
in.
another set free. But you gotta use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout. Go to MyPillow.com. Click on the radio listener specials. MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty
they're laying off
and
Laura
a
right
60-day
now.
money-back guarantee. To get the buy one, get one free on the 6-piece set off MyPillow towels, just go to MyPillow.com, click the radio listener special, and enter the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout. Or call them directly, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. That's MyPillow.com, promo code KANE. Kane.
This is Steve Kane, and I wanted to share with you some thoughts about why I chose the Gardens of Boca Raton to be my final resting place. I have always been uncomfortable with thoughts of death and dying, but the very first time that I visited the Gardens of Boca Raton, I could feel my apprehensions vanish. Just knowing that I'd be spending eternity with my family in such magnificent surroundings lifted my spirits. The Gardens of Boca Raton is an all-faith,
I've had to deal with it on more than one instance.
with tranquil surroundings, a place
it's
where
not
your loved
scary.
ones can come and visit you time and time again, remembering and celebrating your life. The gardens have caring professionals available to help you in your time of need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pre-need with 0% financing is
Hey, Daniel
available
T.
and prevents
Welcome,
your family
welcome.
from having to deal with these matters at the time of their grief and sorrow. The Gardens of Boca Raton, dedicated to all those who have lived and all those who live today. Let the Gardens take care of your family as they are taking care of my family. Schedule a tour today. Call 877-PLAN-561 or online at thegardens.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
Feeling old, tired, run down? Struggling with your sex life or weight control? Dr. Matez can fix it. Call the Boca Raton Center for Age Management at 561-953-5490 or visit their website at brc4am.com.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Yeah, so the New York Times stalking Tucker Carlson, according to that monologue of his last night, and endangering his family, trying to run him off the... And of course, all this happens after it's announced he's #1 in the history of cable news. Now, this story from the recently fired Ed Henry, which Ed Henry denies. He went on Twitter and denied all of what I'm about to share with you. But, you know, Fox News is under major attack here. Major attack. Now, let me take a call for it. Get to any of this. Good morning. You're on the radio.
800.com account.
So hold on, guys. I got to make an adjustment. I rearranged everything in the studio this morning. Don't call in quite yet. Let me fix something. I got to fix something. Let me see here. I tell you, there's so much I got to do here. Okay. That should take care of it. You should be able to call in now. It helps to turn the phones on. That's my fault, by the way. I was rearranging our computers and stuff in the studio and forgot to turn the phones on. So if you'd like to call back, please do. 1-888-GO-KANE-1. So they're doing that to Tucker Carlson. Ed Henry, and again, Ed Henry went on Twitter and denied everything in this story. Okay? Former Fox News anchor Ed Henry, who was just recently fired from Fox, they promoted him to that daytime gig and then they fired him recently. Former Fox News anchor Ed Henry has been accused of violently raping one woman and sexually harassing another in a bombshell new lawsuit. The federal suit was filed on Monday in the U.S. District Court for Southern New York by Jennifer Eckhart, a former associate producer at Fox Business, and Kathy Aru, a frequent guest on the network. Eckhart claims that Ed Henry, who was fired from Fox on July 1st after an unnamed employee accused him of sexual misconduct, handcuffed her and raped her in a hotel room in 2017 after trying to coerce her into a sexual relationship. Aru also claimed she was sexually harassed by Ed Henry, age 49, and several other men at the network, including Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson, Howard Kurtz, and Gianno Caldwell. I'm not exactly sure who he is. I think I know. The lawsuit describes how Hannity allegedly offered staff $100 to take Aru on a date while she served as a regular face on his primetime show in 2018. The lawsuit names Fox News' Ed Henry, Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson, and Howard Kurtz as defendants. Fox News, on behalf of their staff and Ed Henry, have denied the allegations. And, yeah, I know. Monday's complaint states it was widely documented in the public record that Fox News had not only cultivated and fostered sexual harassment and misconduct, but has consistently accepted and rewarded it. This is in the Daily Mail I'm reading. Nevertheless, Fox News would have the public believe that it is a different place from the Fox News that was run by Roger Ailes. A spokesperson for Fox News issued a statement about the lawsuit, which denies the plaintiff's claims and vows to fight them vigorously. Based on the findings of a comprehensive independent investigation conducted by an outside law firm, including interviews with numerous eyewitnesses, we, this is Fox News, have determined that all of Kathy Aru's claims against Fox News, including its management, as well as its hosts Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, Howard Kurtz, and its contributor Gianno Caldwell, are false. Okay, let's see here. And then Fox News went on to say that Ms. Aru and Jennifer Eckhart can pursue their claims against Ed Henry directly with him. Ed Henry's lawyer has denied the allegations. The evidence, this is from the attorneys for the girl making the rape claim against Ed Henry. The evidence in this case will demonstrate that Ms. Eckhart initiated and completely encouraged, I guess this is Ed Henry's people, encouraged a consensual relationship. These are Ed Henry's attorneys. The evidence in the case will demonstrate that Ms. Eckhart initiated and completely encouraged a consensual relationship. Ed Henry looks forward to presenting actual facts and evidence which will contradict the fictional accounts contained in the complaint. The evidence includes graphic photos and other aggressively suggestive communications that Ms. Eckhart sent to Mr. Henry. Henry's been married to his wife since 2010. They had 2 children from a previous marriage. I know his wife's been put through hell. The lawsuit begins by describing how Ed Henry preyed upon, manipulated, and groomed Ms. Eckhart starting at the young age of 24. Oh, 24, is that the new, she's a kid? Is that what they're alleging here? If you're on hold, stand by. I'll get to the phones in just a minute. The lawsuit begins by describing how Ed Henry preyed upon, manipulated, and groomed Ms. Eckhart starting at the young age of 24 by exerting his abuse of power over her and her career. It claims he first began flirting with her in 2014 after she had graduated, and that although she was not romantically interested in him, she joined him for a drink after he persisted in his advances. She claims Ed Henry invited her to his New York Marriott Marquis hotel room, ripped off her clothes, and she had sex with him, fearing that her career would be over if she refused. Eckhart claims that Ed Henry forced her to perform oral sex on him in a guest office in the New York City offices in September 2015. When she would not comply voluntarily, he sexually assaulted her on office property, raped her at a hotel where Fox News frequently lodged its visiting employees, thereby facilitating, whether knowingly or unknowingly, Mr. Henry's conduct, the lawsuit states. Ed Henry took a 4-month leave of absence after he had an extramarital affair in 2016. The lawsuit states that upon his return, Ed Henry sent inappropriate messages to Eckhart and expressed an interest in bondage. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. In the fall of 2016, Ed Henry sent Ms. Eckhart a link to a song entitled "Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy." Ms. Eckhart, confused, asked Mr. Henry if he was trying to tell her something. He responded, "That I want you to ride me. Yes, I'm telling you that." The suit states Ed Henry not only leveraged this imbalance of power for control over his victim, Ms. Eckhart, but asked her to be his sex slave and they have the words, it starts with a W here, and then they got a bunch of dots, and threatened punishment and retaliation if Ms. Eckhart did not comply with his sexual demands. It is claimed alongside screen grabs of WhatsApp messages. Examples included messages from Valentine's Day 2017, which I cannot read. Another one said obey, discipline. It goes on and on and on. I can't read the messages, okay? The lawsuit claims that in 2017 they had drinks together. Ed Henry invited her to take a walk and discuss her career at his hotel. The documents state that Eckhart agreed out of concern for her job. During the encounter, Ed Henry is accused of applying metal handcuffs to her wrist, throwing her on the bed, and taking photographs of her nude against her will. She claims the photographs were to be used for blackmail. The legal document claims Eckhart pleaded for him to stop, deleted the images, but he proceeded to forcefully rape Ms. Eckhart while she was still restrained and helpless in handcuffs. While raping Ms. Eckhart, now this is all from the lawsuit, and I'm reading from the Daily Mail. Ed Henry denies all of this. While raping Ms. Eckhart, Ed Henry performed sadistic acts on Ms. Eckhart, which included, among many other things, violently hitting her in the face multiple times, the lawsuit states. She claims that despite telling him he left a mark on her buttocks, bruise on her leg, among other injuries, he continued to send the messages. It shows other messages claimed to have been sent to him which state, "Will you let me know if and when avail so you can get slapped around some more?" An additional screenshot reads, "Bite your tongue. You know who your daddy is. Good long session last time. Left you bruised, dazed, battered, sated, begging for more. Hashtag perfect." Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Fox News under attack. Your thoughts, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. Good morning.
Hey, it's Mike from Boca.
Hey Mike. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I had a feeling when he first got fired that this was consensual, and it went on for a while, and he probably promised her stuff, and she fell for it, and
he didn't come through.
So she exposed him. So I can't feel sorry for the guy. I feel sorry for his wife.
Oh yeah, I feel bad for his wife. His wife,
she's got to be on medication by now. I mean, my goodness.
Well, I will tell you this. I do believe, obviously there was a relationship, but there was a relationship, but I do not believe that it was forced. I don't believe that.
No, I don't think it was forced, but he was coaxing her. I mean, but it was mutual, and whatever she was promised didn't happen. So this is what's happening. I mean, he's not ruining just his life; he's ruining his kids' lives and his wife.
Oh, I mean, Ed Henry. Well, I wonder what he is going to do with the rest of his life. He'll never work again.
He won't be a newsman anywhere, not even on nowhere. He can't. But no one's going to take it. He can't. No one.
Now, my question is, if what she says is, listen, a rape is pretty hardcore. I mean, that's like the second worst crime. The worst crime is murder, of course, right? Well, why is it in a lawsuit, not at the police precinct?
Yeah, and if this happened, and the woman's young. She's only 30 years old. So if this happened like 2 or 3 years ago, she was like 27 or 28.
Yeah, and Fox News has left Ed Henry out to dry. I mean, he's on his own.
Well, I don't blame him.
Well, what do you think about what the New York Times? The New York Times is about to publish, according to Tucker Carlson, his address.
Yeah, I almost fell off my chair when I heard that. I'm like, that's. I was speechless. Like, I can't believe they're doing this. They're actually trying to find. Isn't that? I mean, can he do it? I thought when he first did it that he had lawyers and he had security, and I guess it didn't work out for him.
Well, he's moved. He moved, and now they're going to tell everybody where he moved to. And after what happened in St. Louis, where gates don't seem to matter to these activists, I mean, that's an intimidation bully move to try to run him off of television because he's very effective and they don't like him.
I would like to see either a Don Lemon or Maddow. I mean, if they really have any kind of a conscience, they would say, they should say something. Because
Well, you know who I'd like to hear comment on this? You know, I'd like to hear comment on this. Brian Stelter over at CNN. I'd love to hear him comment on this. All right, Mike. Appreciate the call. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Hey, Brian. Good morning. How you doing?
Hey, Nick in Baltimore. How are you?
Doing very well. Listen, I just wanted to bring up a couple of things. I don't know about Ed Henry. I never really cared for him. However, it's really interesting how all of this is happening all at once. Kathy Arue, it seems like she's a lunatic. You saw her on Fox. But it's interesting, as I opened up my Twitter last night, the first thing, you know how you get a news bulletin first, and this story popped up, and it was from CNBC about these allegations.
Yeah.
And who just became a big player at CNBC?
Oh, Shepard Smith.
Yep.
Oh, that's a good that's very interesting, Nick. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so I smell a rat.
So Shepard Smith is kind of like the Megyn Kelly of CNBC now. He's over there leaking out inside things that he knows from office gossip.
Right. But I don't believe the allegations against Hannity or Tucker. I just don't.
No, and this girl's allegations against Ed Henry, I do believe that she had a consensual relationship with him, but I do not believe the rape allegation. If that were true, I think she would go to, I don't know what the statute of limitations are in New York, but I think she'd go to the police regardless if that was true.
Well, that's the point. Like Mike just said, and you've been saying, why didn't they go to the police?
Or even still, people, you know, you look at these cases, people go to the police in this Me Too movement many years later. Look at Harvey Weinstein, who's faced New York charges that were years old. So I don't know why she hasn't gone to the police. Now, what about the New York Times publicizing the location of Tucker Carlson's home?
Awfully dangerous. I wish they'd change the libel laws and do something to where the Times could be sued for everything.
This one's pretty bad, and I really would like to think that some of these liberals in the mainstream, Brian Stelter, Fredo, and all the rest, would say, hey, New York Times, do not do this. This is dangerous.
They won't.
Well, they're trying to get Tucker Carlson to leave television. And, you know, there was I can't remember her name, but there was a woman who was on QVC for many, many years, very good looking, very, very hot, sexy woman. She left not long ago because of a stalker, television stalkers, you know, and that's what they're doing. They're bullying Tucker Carlson. They're stalking him like they did with Sarah Palin when that guy moved in next door to her, you know, and they're endangering his family, and he's got a decision to make. And you saw how good the gate did in St. Louis.
Right. It really, what you're saying, and this is true, they're terrorizing his family. They're terrorizing Sean Hannity. And I'm no Sean Hannity fan because I think that I wish he'd shut up so you'd hear the guests more. But what they're doing to him and what they're doing to Tucker is concern.
Yeah.
Like I said, pours it on too strong, and they're doing too much all of it.
Well, it's an overload. And, you know, I wonder how much of this is coming from inside the Fox News channel.
I don't know.
From because these attacks, are on the two primetime guys. I believe, I'm going to throw this out. I believe that Harris Faulkner will find her way to primetime on Fox, replacing probably Hannity. I think Hannity. I think Hannity's on his way out at Fox. And I know that sounds crazy, but I think he's on his way out, and I think they're going to bring Harris Faulkner in at night. They're doing these specials with her. They're elevating Harris Faulkner a lot, and and they do not have any minorities on in the evening. You know, everyone's white. You know, and there's a lot of pressure on that today. And I think what they'll tell themselves, and there's some truth to this, is that it doesn't matter who's on in that slot, the ratings will still be number one. Remember, Tucker's Carlson ratings increased above that of Megyn Kelly, and Megyn Kelly's ratings increased what Bill O'Reilly had, and they figure they're paying probably Hannity too much money, and he's too close to Trump. Remember, everyone that's been close to Trump personally has run into trouble. They got rid of Eric Bolling. Judge Jeanine almost lost her job over there, and I'm telling you, I may be far away, but I'm telling you, there's a move to put Harris Faulkner. I know, does that sound crazy to you that they'd get rid of Hannity?
Oh no, it doesn't. But I'm losing faith in Fox. I like certain people. I like Laura Ingraham. I like Judge Jeanine. I like Mark Levin.
And Tucker Carlson. Do you like Tucker?
Tucker, yeah, I like Tucker.
He's great.
Tucker, especially now. I see those guys moving on to another.
There's a big move over there. They're heaping too much on over there at that primetime lineup. And again, like I say, if Biden really was winning, if the polls were real, they wouldn't. This is all desperate. All right, Nick, I got to run for a break. I'm very late, but thanks for the call. All right, Nick always contributes very good discussions on the program. All right, we'll be right back. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show.
You're stuck in your home and the dog days of summer are coming. It's already happening on the hot days in the late afternoon and early evenings. Your air conditioner is running more and more and may even run constantly, struggling to keep your home cool and hold the temperature that you have it set on. And in some homes, it can't even keep up, losing the battle. And the temperature in your house climbs and you're hot, humid, and uncomfortable. And to top it all off, your electric bill is about to double or even triple. Here comes summer. The cure is reflective and/or blown insulation. Stop the heat gain and cut your electric bill up to 35% off. Act now and get the pandemic special, our off-season sale.
If you're not subscribed, subscribe. Yeah, Nick's a great caller.
Reflective and/or blown insulation and cut your electric bill up to 35%. Call Scott from CutMyKilowatts.com at 954-939-1500. That's 954-939-1500. CutMyKilowatts.com. Put your house in the shade today.
This is Steve Kane for attorney Barry Siegel. Barry did a great job for me and my family when we needed a revocable living trust. Listen to one of our listeners, Ray, talk about his experience with Barry Siegel.
I want to praise Barry Siegel. And one of the most important things about sponsors is integrity. You have to know that you're dealing with an honest person. I had to go up to Myrtle Beach for my sister because her husband died, and I was helping her out. She had a trust and everything. She had not revised this trust since 1997. And Barry says every 3 years at least you gotta. I called Barry's office because I had a question. I let the secretary know. I said, look, I'm calling from South Carolina. I know the laws are different, and I'm just asking for information for my sister. Now, most people just blow you off, right? Yeah. Almost immediately, within a few minutes, Barry himself called me. I asked my questions and so on, and he answered. He was very patient. And I was quite a while with him, and talking about a lot of things, and this and that. But I wanted to say, character, integrity, these are the most important things with sponsors, and all of your sponsors, because I've dealt with
Greg, I don't remember your call, Greg.
Have that you can trust them, and you're getting a fair shake.
Do what Ray did. Call attorney Barry Siegel right now. Toll free 1-855-FLA-3782. That's 1-855 toll free FLA-3782. Tell them Steve sent you.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
All right, welcome back. 41 minutes after the hour, I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. If you're just tuning in, Fox News' primetime lineup under attack. Two women making claims, one making a claim of sexual harassment against Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, Howard Kurtz. Another woman has accused Ed Henry, who was fired just 20 days ago, less than 3 weeks ago. Another woman has said that she was violently raped by Ed Henry. That's what we're talking about. Your thoughts, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. Good morning, Mike in Louisiana. You're on the radio.
Yeah, Hannity has been on the liberals' crap list for how long now?
Mm-hmm.
and they've been looking for ways to get rid of him, to force Fox to get rid of him forever, you know. So it should surprise you that some woman comes out after his divorce now. You know, we know that he's gotten divorced, right? So after his divorce now, and said this stuff, and I bet you, much like a lot of these other places where these women have come out, you know, Blasey Ford with Kavanaugh and all that stuff, and the women that came out against Judge Moore in Alabama, you know.
This is pretty hardcore stuff, though. You know, the one story, the New York Times has an investigator assigned to the job of just reporting on where Tucker Carlson lives after what and remember, Tucker Carlson at his previous home that he left because of this. Remember the liberals, it was Antifa, went to his house while his wife was home alone and he was at work. She was hiding in a closet and called the police, and now the New York Times is doing this again. This is so far over the line. I mean, someone's got to stand up here.
Right, and this is the same New York Times that has been proven to be a liar on many other things. So now I'm not saying they're a liar on this. I'm just saying, on many other things they've been proven to be a liar and such. And that's the thing. This is a newspaper. Oh, we're all the news that is fit to print.
Yeah.
News. How's the news fit to print?
No, it's what they're doing is dangerous. It's very dangerous. And so far as this claim against Ed Henry, I have no doubt that she had a relationship with him and it was sexual. But this idea that he violently raped her, I don't believe that. I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. Especially, after the Roger, she's had a lot of time to come forward with that. After I forget, what year did Roger Ailes leave? Did this certainly, there's been a window since Roger Ailes left for her to come forward. If she would have contacted Megyn Kelly or, who's Mia Farrow and Frank Sinatra's son that does all this stuff on this? Ronan Farrow. She could have contacted Ronan Farrow, she could have contacted Megyn Kelly, and they would have helped her.
Right, and that's the thing. And we know what Ronan Farrow has done, some of the stuff he's come up with, and that's the thing. And look, they got rid of, we talked about Roger Ailes, he's been around a long time, and they were always, the reason why they went after him is he put that thing together.
Well, the thing, he was with Richard Nixon. He worked in the Nixon White House, Roger Ailes. The thing with, in fact, what he is the one, Roger Ailes came up with the idea of the live phone call with Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin and President Nixon, and to have it on TV with the video of them on the moon with him and a split screen with Nixon. That might not sound like a big deal today, but it was in '69. And Roger Ailes, he was a brilliant guy. But I'm sure Roger Ailes was all the pig that they said that he was. I recently had Janice Dean on my podcast, from Fox News. I interviewed her, and she dealt with some harassment from Roger Ailes that she's very vocal about. But, what's going on with Tucker Carlson right now, they're threatening him. It's a bullying tactic. It's an Antifa tactic, and it needs to be talked about by everyone in media. This is cancel culture gone wild and extreme.
Right. I mean, the whole thing with Ailes came down like in 2016. All right.
Was that 2016? Has it been only 4 years? It seems longer. Was it 2016?
Right, 2016, and I think about 2 years later, 2018 is when everything started to ramp up against.
Yeah.
So it's like within 2 years of Ailes, it was O'Reilly, and then they brought in what's his name.
Well, television. It's really interesting that Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson are two squeaky clean Marines, because I promise you they've done very extensive research into their backgrounds, and they haven't been able to come up with anything. That's why they're doing this. And Tucker Carlson's in for a very, very rough ride. He is going to be forced to relocate his family. And I don't know how old his kids are, but stalking. This is stalking. And I know they can call it reporting, but it's stalking. And that's frightening, scary, and it's dangerous.
We've talked about how Hannity's somewhat gotten full of himself and all that stuff at times, but he does have great guests on his show,
Well, last night, I was watching Hannity last night because of all this stuff going on, and he had the governor of Missouri on, and he got the governor to say something. He asked the governor of Missouri, will he pardon that couple that are now facing charges in St. Louis for protecting their home? And he said, yes, he will. And that's, so Hannity is very highly rated. He does good work. His ego's getting out of control, but that doesn't mean that he's not important to the Trump train, just like Tucker Carlson is, and they're out to destroy them because of this. But what's going on with Tucker Carlson right now, this is scary to me. They have crossed a line, and that line is family. Family should be off limits. And typically, as even in the mafia, the family's off limits, right?
And here's the deal: don't you remember back when Clinton was in office and people started to talk about Chelsea and all that?
Oh yeah, kids are off limits, as they should be.
Kids are off limits, They tried it with I believe the Bush kids and stuff like that, and nobody like.
Well, listen, I gotta run for a break, but I appreciate the call, Mike in Louisiana. Oh, he was hanging up there quick. Mike in Louisiana, I like Mike in Louisiana. Good caller. All right, let's take our last break of the first hour. Our number toll free from anywhere, 1-888-COCAINE 1-888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
We are chatting today with Frank, the owner of two magnificent Ace Hardware stores.
If you are new here, subscribe. If you subscribe, something pops up. And my daughter put in a graphic. If you leave a super chat, you'll see a graphic come up that my daughter made. And if you subscribe, your new subscriber, something pops up too.
In Lauderdale by the sea. How many years have you owned this business?
I've been in the hardware business for over 40 years, Steve.
If I have a home project that I'm doing, there are so many around the house, that's the big thing today. What's the difference of my experience if I go to Ace Hardware as opposed to these major impersonal chain stores?
Oh, there's a huge difference. The basic difference is customer service. We're an old-time fashion hardware store. We have experienced people that are working our stores. Our employees are just top-notch. They're very experienced. They know their business. When you're doing a project, you can come into the store and you can get somebody that knows what they're doing.
Red rum.
Will like to work with you. They'll find you the right project, the right pieces the first time, so you can get in and out with the right material.
There are lots of Ace Hardware stores, but there are only two that are advertising with the Steve Kane Show. We're talking about the Deerfield location, a quarter of a mile south of Hillsborough Boulevard on the west side of Federal, and of course the Beach Ace Hardware located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, a half block west of A1A in Lauderdale by the sea. Very, very special locations. Be sure to mention Steve Kane sent you.
This is Brian Craig, and I want to tell you about Dr. Mitch Patez at the Boca Raton Center for Age Management. He's my anti-aging doctor. That's right, I have an anti-aging doctor now. I was starting to slow down a bit. I met with Dr. Patez, and he found that my testosterone level
oh boy.
We began losing our testosterone starting at age 30, and it goes down every year after that. Dr. Patez told me I was
It's pretty frightening, isn't it? I mean, they're just
andropause. That's the male equivalent of
classless
menopause.
people.
I began bioidentical hormone pellet therapy. There's
Steve
tiny
Kane
little
Show.
pellets inserted under my skin,
Thanks.
and now my testosterone levels are being restored to where they were when I was 25 years old. Thanks to Dr. Patez, I have more energy, I feel feel better, I look better, my love life, it's better, and my wife, she's thanking Dr. Matez too. Bioidentical hormone pellet therapy isn't just for men.
We're going to have Loomer on the show. I talked to Laura Loomer last night.
Symptoms of menopause, like the night sweats and the mood swings, men and women. You don't have to live with the negative effects of aging, like loss of energy, loss of sexual desire, weight gain, or menopause. Call Dr. Matez and meet with him about bioidentical hormone pellet therapy. It works for me, and it'll work for you too. He's located in Boca, and his website is hormonetherapybocaratone.com. Or give him a call, 561-953-5490. 561-953-5490. And tell him Brian Craig sent you.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, we are back. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show. We're going to have Laura Loomer on the show again soon. I texted Laura Loomer last night. The Republican establishment are up to their old tricks again involving Loomer, and I'm very upset about it. I live in the district. I will be voting for Laura Loomer, and if all goes well, she will be my voice in the United States House of Representatives, and I'm very excited about that. I'll talk a little bit later what they're doing, what they have done to Laura Loomer, and we're going to have her on the show, if not this week, next week, because there's a primary coming up, and it's an important primary involving her. Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hey, good morning. I watch Tucker Carlson from time to time. Hi, it's Alan Coral Springs.
Uh-huh.
When he was covering the Black Lives Matter and defund the police movement, I never saw any peaceful protesters being displayed on his double screen. I don't know if you know, but like the Black Lives Matter movement and the defund the police movement, right now in Portland, Oregon, it's like at an extreme, intense level there.
Yeah, they're attacking the police. They're attacking the cops.
Isn't Tucker, why? Do you know why Tucker is not covering it?
Well, a lot of this happened last night. I don't know what he's covered in Portland. But excuse me, Al, excuse me. So this is so typical of the left. Here we have Tucker Carlson's family being put in danger by the New York Times, according to a show last night. You don't give a damn about that. You're concerned about him not covering something in Portland the way you think it should be covered. What are your thoughts on the New York Times publicizing where he lives?
What I'm saying is, Tucker Carlson's show, he's quick to make...
Now, what is your opinion on them publicizing where he lives with his children and his wife? Are you upset about this? Do you think that's wrong? What's your thought?
Well, he's a bigot and a racist.
Oh, so it's
He doesn't want to cover...
So that makes it okay? That makes it okay?
But he doesn't want to cover what's going on.
So because he doesn't cover what liberals want, it's okay to stalk him and endanger his family and publicize where he lives? Now he turned up the radio. Come on, Al. He's trying to hang up. He doesn't want to deal with this. And he hung up. That's what you're dealing with. Mental patients. You're dealing with mental patients. He said Tucker's a racist. He doesn't like what he puts on his show. He covers the stories wrong. Not even a word on what they're doing. See, that what Tucker's talking about what's being done to Tucker is the mob, the left, the base. Oh my goodness. Why are we called the haters when it's they that are doing all of this? Have you ever heard of a mainstream conservative outlet stalking someone like this? A mainstream conservative outlet. You know, the New York Times is the gold standard for what media is supposed to be, what news people are supposed to be. And Liberal Al there, Liberal Al from Coral Springs, not to be confused with Liberal Al the John, can't even comment on that. He says he's a racist, he's a bigot, and he doesn't like how he covers Black Lives Matter. Oh my goodness. That was the most disturbing call I've gotten in years. and I've gotten some rough ones. 1-888-GO-CANE-1 888-465-2631. I did not hang up on him. He discontinued the call. Unrelated to this, just a few moments before the top of the hour, if someone knows the name of the person in the band I'm talking about, please let me know. This came up in my YouTube recommendations yesterday, and I watched some videos. There's a lead singer of a Christian, very popular Christian band who has left Christianity, says he no longer believes in God. And and I watched this, and Hawk is in the name of the band. Does anyone know who that is? And there's quite a few high-profile mainstream Christians that not only have left the church, but say they're no longer Christians. And I'm not going to talk about it too much now, but I think we are in the future, because there's something very frightening going on here, and that's a part of it. All right. 1-888-GO-CANE-1 888-465-2631. This is a scary day. And that call from Al, I hope Al calls back and corrects himself a little bit. That was disturbing. Good morning.
Morning, Brian.
Yeah, what's your name? Carl in Columbus, Ohio, where they used to have a statue of Christopher Columbus on public display, but no longer.
Yeah, Brian, they did the same thing to Charles Payne.
Well, Charles Payne's story was true. He had an extramarital affair with that Neil Hughes lady. Yeah, that was.
I mean, it's getting to the point to where you can no longer even.
What's the name of that band, Sarah?
Date or.
Well, no. Hold on a second here. There's two things, and there's a couple of different stories here going on. One is Ed Henry having an extramarital affair. Charles Payne did, and he's still there, but he's been accused of rape by this girl. That's one thing. And the other one is the New York Times has put a reporter on the beat of just covering where Tucker Carlson lives to threaten him, intimidate him, and try to get him to quit television. So there's some scary things going on here.
Yeah. Well, it's getting to the point where just if you are not equal in your position at work, it's considered rape because you have some kind of hierarchy. I mean. Well,
did you hear the liberal caller that called a few minutes ago, and he says, well, Tucker Carlson's a racist. He's a bigot, and he doesn't cover BLM right. He wouldn't even comment on it. So it's okay. I guess all I could take from that call is he thinks it's okay to stalk and intimidate him and his family.
Right. Well, it's all fair. Everything's fair when it comes to promoting their agenda, and they're going to go all out. I mean, this is just an all-out.
Stalking is one of the most frightening things an individual can deal with. Do you know anyone that's ever been stalked?
Yeah.
It's frightening, isn't it? It's illegal, too.
Happened to me.
What? How did you get stalked?
So yeah, some girl at work.
You were stalked by a girl?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Weird. I mean.
Yeah, that sounds a little. Was she good looking?
No.
Oh, so would you have minded? Would you have minded if she was hot?
Well, no. I mean,
well, yeah, that's the fine line. If she looked like the girl accusing Ed Henry of these things, would you have minded?
Because she was married, and I admired her and her husband. And, It was.
I don't know. All right. Okay. What do you think? What do you think about what the New York Times is doing to Tucker Carlson?
I think they're just desperate to get rid of him because he makes sense and he is leading the.
Yeah. If Trump was losing, they wouldn't be doing that.
Get rid of anyone that supports Trump.
Do you think Ed Henry raped this girl?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
And this is all demeaning to women that have actually really been raped. I mean, this is just, they're making it trivial now. And it's...
Yeah. All right, I got to run for a break at the top of the hour. Appreciate the call. If you're on hold, stand by. We will go to the phones again after the break. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back.
5.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
We are chatting today with Frank, the owner of two magnificent Ace Hardware stores. One
Good morning,
at
everyone.
Deerfield Beach, 365 South Federal Highway, about a quarter of a mile south of Hillsborough on the west side of Federal Highway, and the other, Beach Ace Hardware, located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, half a block west of A1A in Lauderdale by the Sea. Well, one of the things I noticed when I first walked into Ace Hardware is that you carry such a wide variety of the big brands all under one roof. It's astounding.
That's Ace's new practice. It's called Best Brands. And under one roof, we have
Yes,
major
Hawk
categories.
Nelson,
Let me give you an
that's it.
example of two. Yeti coolers, Craftsman hand tools, Milwaukee hand tools, Steel power equipment,
Hawk
Kenmore
Nelson.
paint,
Yeah,
Weber
that's right,
grills,
Sarah. Thank
Napoleon
you.
grills, Traeger grills, Big Green Egg. We are a platinum dealer. We have the largest selection of Green Egg products, all under one roof, all with people that are experienced and show you how to use these products.
There are lots of Ace Hardware stores, but there are only two that are advertising with the Steve Kane Show. We're talking about the Deerfield location, a quarter of a mile south of Hillsborough Boulevard on the west side of Federal, and of course the Beach Ace Hardware located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, a half block west of A1A in Lauderdale by the Sea. Very, very special locations. Be sure to mention Steve Kane sent you.
Have you ever picked up a towel set because it felt really soft in the store, but when you go to use it, it's not very absorbent? It's basically a towel that's leaving you out to dry. Mike Lindell, Trump supporter and inventor of My Pillow, has developed a towel that actually works. Towels that actually
Main Street
dry
Moments,
you.
that's
My
my
Pillow is
wife,
debuting a
Kathy.
My Pillow 6-piece towel set that includes 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, and 2 washcloths. They come in a variety of colors, and right now, when you buy one set, you get another set free. But you gotta use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout. Go to MyPillow.com. Click on the radio listener specials. MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. To get the buy one, get one free
What
on
do you
the
think the
6-piece
story
set
is
off
with
MyPillow
the guy
towels, just go
from
to
Hawk Nelson?
MyPillow.com, click the radio listener special, and enter the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout. Or call them directly, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. That's MyPillow.com, promo code KANE. Kane.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Avoid probate with a revocable living trust. $350 for single people, $450 for married couples. When you complete your trust with Attorney Barry Siegel, he will give you a $100 gift certificate to Tavolino Italian Restaurant in Coral Springs. The Siegel Law Group, with offices throughout Broward, Palm Beach, and Dade County. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE 1. That's 1-888-GO-KANE 1. And now.
All right, welcome back. Hour number 2 has begun. 6 minutes after 7. It's Tuesday, July 21st, 2020. If you're on hold, stand by. I gotta do a recap because we're dealing with some of the most important stories we've dealt with in a long time. What's going on over at the Fox News channel? There's a couple things in play at Fox News. Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson, Howard Kurtz have been accused of sexual harassment. Fox News' Ed Henry has been accused of a very, very violent rape. And the New York Times, Tucker Carlson on his show made an announcement. I'll play some of that to you. I played it at the top of the last hour. I'll play this again. This is Tucker Carlson on his program last night.
Last week, the New York Times began working on a story about where my family and I live. As a matter of journalism, there is no conceivable justification for a story like that. The paper is not alleging we've done anything wrong, and we haven't. We pay our taxes, we like our neighbors, we've never had a dispute with anyone. So why is the New York Times doing a story on the location of my family's house? Well, you know why. To hurt us. To injure my wife and kids so that I will shut up and stop disagreeing with them. They believe in force. We've learned that. 2 years ago, a left-wing journalist publicized our home address in Washington. A group of screaming Antifa lunatics showed up while I was at work. They vandalized our home. They threatened my wife. She called 911 while hiding in a closet. A few weeks later, they showed up again at our house. For the next year, they sent letters to our home threatening to kill us. We tried to ignore it. It felt cowardly to sell our home and leave. We raised our kids there in the neighborhood, and we loved it. But in the end, that's what we did. We have 4 children. It just wasn't worth it. But the New York Times followed us. The paper has assigned a political activist called Murray Carpenter to write a story about where we are now. They've hired a photographer called Tristan Spinsky to take pictures. Their story about where we live is slated to run in the paper this week. Editors there know exactly what will happen to my family when it does run. I called them today and I told them, but they didn't care. They hate my politics. They want this show off the air. If one of my children gets hurt because of a story they wrote, they won't consider it collateral damage. They know it's the whole point of the exercise.
Wow. So that's Tucker Carlson last night. Richie the bus driver, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. I'd like to address real fast Al, okay? He called and he made that statement about Tucker Carlson, and yesterday he called and he said he would debate me, and
on any topic.
Yeah, I see how he cuts and runs with you when you ask him a question. Typical left-wing liberal.
And he didn't even. I thought he would have the good sense to say, "Hey, that's wrong." Giving out the home where Tucker lives.
They can't win an argument because they call you racist and a bigot right away. And that's why I'd like to apologize. He got upset that I called him a moron, but I want to apologize to all morons, okay? For each in the same class.
Well, okay, now let's talk about what's going on here, okay? Let's slow down. Let's be very specific, okay? With Tucker Carlson and Hannity. They're trying to run them both off of television. What is about to happen to Tucker Carlson is one of the most threatening things that could happen to someone, especially after what we saw in St. Louis with the couple in St. Louis. Do you think in the end they're going to win and Tucker will leave? Really, what's he going to do?
He's going to fight it. He might have to sell his house again. But there's got to be some kind of, let me tell you, there's going to be such a backlash. The fact of the matter is, even Mike called you up. And Mike is a great conservative, but he's so passive. And he's one of these guys, we got to go by the old rules. In the past, we never involved children. This is not the past.
Yeah.
On in all the cities. Look, we are at war. I mentioned this to you earlier. This is a war not between blacks and whites. This is a war between good and bad. Because there's a lot of more whites involved in this than any.
Well, do you think now that Tucker Carlson, the number one show in cable news history, on top of that, who made this public about the New York Times, do you think the New York Times will still do this? What Tucker's afraid of? Publish his home address?
Yeah, because Nancy Pelosi mentioned this a couple of months ago. You got a tape on her. That all you got to do is throw out a lie. The press runs with it. And then we report that, it must be true because the press reported.
You got to wonder what goes on. It's one thing when you got a bunch of millennial kids that have no jobs that still live with their parents and they're 32 years old who run around with masks acting tough. It's another thing when you're talking about an Ivy League educated newsroom in New York City at the New York Times. How do these Ivy League journalists in a newsroom sit around and justify publicizing the home address of Tucker Carlson, especially after what he went through?
Because being a socialist, being a communist, okay, there's communist newspapers, there's communist reporters up there. The Democratic Party, I told you in the past, the Democratic Party is communist.
Well, what do they think when they say, okay, we've got a reporter and a photographer on this story, we're going to publicize where Tucker Carlson lives with his children and his wife. they don't just say we're going to intimidate him and bully him off television. They have a justification. What's their justification?
They're doing a story on him.
Well, let me tell you, Fox News should stop whatever the hell it is they're doing and spend the entire day standing behind Tucker Carlson, defending Tucker, defending his family, and exposing the New York Times. This should be the discussion all day long until the New York Times says they're not going to do it.
Dad, listen, they should defend everyone that, including Ed Henry, who they threw out to dry. The fact of the matter is, Gorsuch was not Gorsuch, the other Supreme Court justice, he raped somebody in college. These people will go after, they will make stuff up because they are devious. This is a war, and we better.
Do you think Ed Henry raped that girl?
No, and I don't even, and guess what? The dossier of the president had the president doing all sorts of disgusting things too. How do you, I don't justify those emails, Ed Henry. They could be forged also.
Well, text messages. She has text messages from him and WhatsApp.
How do you know Ed Henry? How do you know?
Well, Ed Henry went to Twitter. He denied it all and said he's going to fight it. So, I mean, this guy's life is. I have no doubt that he had a sexual affair with her because he has a history of it. He did it out in Vegas, and his attorneys had said there was a consensual affair, I believe, in the story I read in the first hour.
I guess maybe they have to agree with that because otherwise, he said, she said, he said.
Well, have you heard outside of Tucker Carlson? Have you heard anyone on Fox News mention this New York Times? What the hell? I mean, one of their own is under attack. A family of one of their own is under attack in a way that is so far over the line. Fox News needs to circle the line. This should be what they talk about all day on Fox. They should outnumber the 5 until the New York Times says we're not doing it. They should send a reporter over to the New York Times for an interview. They're not going to talk to them. They should stand out in front of the New York Times and ask people that work there walking in and out of the building about this. They should get to the bottom of this, and they should contact whoever the hell the editors and publishers are too. They should go to the president even to comment on this. They should go to the head of the White House press corps for a statement on this. Come on.
They lie about the president every day to Times. That's one of the big gigs. I mean, let me. The last thing is, Al said. By the way, Al said Tucker's a racist and bigot because he shows what's going on in Portland. Well, don't believe your lying eyes, people. There are peaceful protesters out there. That's what Al wants everyone to think. And Black Lives Matter is.
Yeah.
How do you like that?
Yeah. All right. Take care. Richie the bus driver. Oh, man. All right, let's take our first break of the second hour. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll take a break, and we will be right back. Don't you go anywhere.
This is Brian Craig. I've been telling you about the great deals and incredible customer service at Friendly Tire on both new tires and used tires. One of our listeners, Antonio, went to Friendly Tire and called to share with us his experience of buying used tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hey, yes, Brian, I want to give you a quick testimony about the tire place up in Margate, Friendly Tire. Friendly Tire is everything you said it would be, man. I went up there and got me some used tires, and when I went up there, man, he was very courteous. My whole family's going around, man. It's everything you said it was going to be, man. I appreciate you for that, man. And
hey, if you're not subscribed, subscribe, all right?
All right, Antonio. Hey, I'm glad we could save you and your family lots of money on tires at Friendly Tire.
Oh, no doubt, man. Thanks so much, man.
Do what Antonio did. Stop into Friendly Tire and find incredible deals on both new and used tires. Give Friendly Mike a call right now. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. And Mike will give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate.
You're stuck in your home and the dog days of summer are coming. It's already happening on the hot days in the late afternoon and early evenings. Your air conditioner is running more and more. It may even run constantly, struggling to keep your home cool and hold the temperature that you have it set on. And in some homes, it can't even keep up, losing the battle. And the temperature in your house climbs and you're hot, humid, and uncomfortable. And to top it all off, your electric bill is about to double or even triple. Here comes summer. The cure is reflective and or blown insulation. Stop the heat gain and cut your electric bill up to 35% off. Act now and get the pandemic special, our off-season sale. Act now. Save 50% on reflective and or blown insulation and cut your electric bill up to 35%. Call Scott from CutMyKilowatts.com at 954-939-1500. That's 954-939-1500. CutMyKilowatts.com. Put your house in the shade today.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, welcome back. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, so Fox News under attack. Oh, my goodness. What's going on over at Fox News is it's pretty rough. You got to feel bad for these guys. I'm telling you, there is a move going on at Fox News to bring Harris Faulkner to primetime. And the question is, will she replace Tucker Carlson or Sean Hannity? That's really what's going on here. It's really what's going on here. And if you see how they've elevated Harris Faulkner lately, and I've noticed she's getting a little bit of full of herself lately. I was watching her yesterday. She seems to be a little bit in love with herself. She had that big special Sunday night that no one was talking about yesterday. You'd think she wouldn't be so full of herself after that bombed. But that's the move. That's the move. They've got women at night, but they don't have any minorities in the prime time, right? Right. They got Martha McCallum early. They've got Laura Ingraham later, but they're both white girls. They need, they don't have any minorities. That's the move. The question is, do they want Tucker out or do they want Hannity out, or do they not care? Any of you others out there believe there's a move to bring Harris Faulkner to primetime? 1-888-GO-KANE-1. All right, now Florida, we got, this is, things are getting out of control in Democrat communities here in Florida. Let me pull this story out because I want to read this. I got to find this story here. Hold on. I didn't see this in our local news. There's a story here about South Florida, Broward County in particular, and I found it online in a national news source. Hold on, let me find this story because this is scary. Those of you in Broward County that are listening, this is a new one to me. I looked. I did not see this in the Sun Sentinel this morning. Let's see here. I've got I put all of the stories that I'm going to talk about. I put them on my Twitter, Brian Craig Show on Twitter. I tweet all those. That's like my stack of stuff. My show prep is my Twitter feed. Okay, here's the story. This is in the Gateway Pundit. Broward County officials have issued an emergency mandate. Citizens must now wear masks in their homes. That's right. In their homes. Now, the Gateway Pundit says this new mandate includes those who live alone. This was tweeted by Young Americans for Liberty. I'm not sure who that is. They got But it says here, Broward County, Florida has issued an emergency order mandating that citizens wear masks in their own home. They put the order here and highlighted the portions that I'm going to read to you now. Section 4 of the order, responsibility to ensure compliance with applicable orders. Section 4, Part A, residential property residents. All persons, now this is at the Gateway Pundit, all persons who reside on any residential property, whether single family or multifamily, and irrespective of whether they own or rent the property, must ensure that all persons on the residential property, including guests, comply with all applicable guidelines of any Broward County emergency order, including the facial covering requirements. I know a lot of people think this sounds crazy, but it's not. in 2020, I am so glad the president is bringing back his coronavirus press conferences today, because stories are getting out of control and they're getting out of hand. In 2020, we have dealt with and experienced the largest loss of our personal liberties that any of us have ever experienced in any of our lifetimes in the United States. I mean, look at this. The governor of California, this is, so in Broward County here, Broward County, masks are now required in your home. The governor of California, in a new order, has banned in-home Bible studies. That's right. It's crazy. This is from The Blaze. A network of California churches filed a lawsuit Saturday against Governor Gavin Newsom, alleging that his recent coronavirus lockdown order, which temporarily banned all indoor church operations, including in-home Bible studies, is unconstitutional. Yeah, it is. They don't want the churches. The left hate the churches. Harvest International Ministry, which has church campuses in Pasadena, Corona, and Irvine, California, argued in the complaint that churchgoers in California are having their gatherings severely restricted while protesters are being permitted to demonstrate without any restrictions. So in-home Bible studies that's freedom of religion, right to assembly, in your own home. The liberals have always been saying this. You can do whatever you want in your own home, right? What takes place in your home is your own business. I've heard liberals say this my whole life. At-home Bible study banned in California. The liberals in Broward County, according to this new order in the Gateway Pundit, are requiring... I saw this in the Gateway Pundit. I've not seen this in the local news. If it's been in the local news, I've missed it. But in the Gateway Pundit, the new order in Broward County, here in South Florida, requiring residents to wear facial coverings in their own home and make sure everyone inside complies. What the hell? This is the largest loss of liberty we've ever experienced. And it's never ending. You know, when this first started, I told you guys, I said when this first started, they'll never give power back. That's how the left are. Once they take something, once they take it away, that's it. It doesn't come back. And when this first started at the beginning of the year, this was frightening. That's why so many of us went, and I did, and stocked up our house like we were ready for hurricanes to come, right? It was very frightening. And they used our fear to get us to surrender our liberties. And they're not giving them back. In fact, they gave a few of them back, and now they're taking them again. I saw that they've started writing citations in Dade County for people not wearing masks. I see businesses are being harassed and shut down because they're not complying. I heard a story, I think it was Friday, over the weekend, in Broward County. They have patrols out. Law enforcement are going to break up gatherings larger than 10. What is this? North Korea? East Germany? It's crazy town what's going on here. And let me tell you something. People are fed up with this. Not just Republicans on the Trump train. People are fed up with this. And, you know, we were talking yesterday about some of these stories. There are labs in Florida, these government labs, where they've never had a negative coronavirus test. How the hell is that possible? This is probably, I would say not probably, without question, in my lifetime, the most frightening period in this country's history. You know, what they're doing when they use a crisis, never let a good crisis go to waste. Rahm Emanuel, Obama chief of staff, you know, they're using a crisis to take our rights away. This happened after 9/11. Right, with the Patriot Act. We were very frightened after 9/11, and we stood by, and Bush and Cheney and all the rest with the Patriot Act, and we cheered them on and waved our flags when they passed the Patriot Act, okay? Because we were scared, and they took advantage of that. And we even supported a war in Iraq because we were scared. Now look what's happening. Little different, but similar. And they're also changing American Common English. People don't say goodbye anymore. Right? See ya. Goodbye. Take it easy. See you later. That's all gone. It's been replaced with stay safe. You will never hear me say that to someone, but stay safe has become the greeting for goodbye or see ya. You know, I don't say it, and every time I hear it, it pisses me off. I don't like when people say it to me. Now everybody will start saying it to me, but I don't like it. I don't say it. I don't like when I hear it. You know, I just don't. I don't like it. That they hide behind. The tyrants hide behind keeping you safe, and they're changing our language. They're changing our culture is being changed. And they're changing our culture because they're changing the way that we do things. They've stopped church services. So we're church. They've rid us of the church. Huge parts of the country, no church in huge parts of the country. Remember here months ago in Florida, they were jailing ministers, jailing pastors for having a church. What is this? The Roman Empire? Since when are they jailing Christians for preaching or for assembling? It's against the law now. And places all over the country, it's illegal to have a church service. Did you ever think you would see something like that happen? Because when this first started months ago, we were scared. For good reason, we were scared. We had reason to be scared. I'm no longer frightened. I think things are under control. I think people have an understanding. This change of the language might sound odd, but taking Merry Christmas away. Remember now, this was a big change. And people started saying, "Have a happy holiday." It's freaking Christmas Eve. Have a happy holiday, because they don't want to offend. And most people don't even know. They just say they don't say happy holidays. They say have a happy holiday. And I've seen that transfer to other things, like the 4th of July. I've heard people say in public, have a happy holiday instead of happy 4th of July. Okay? They've shut down our churches. They're making Christian worship and Christian gatherings a crime. It's illegal in California to have a Bible study in your own home. They're coming into our bedroom where they say you can take part in any sex act you want and smoke weed all day, and saying that everybody in your house has to have a mask. And if you're the homeowner or the person whose name's on the lease, you're responsible. Our restaurants and public gatherings are scaled down. They got the prohibitionists out there. All the bars are closed. They've even in Florida shut down bars that were inside restaurants. There's no bars. All out of business, like prohibition going on in this country. Oh yeah, you can still buy your booze at Walmart and the grocery store. But bars are closed. This is the first time bars have been closed since Prohibition. And they did this without a constitutional amendment, without any laws being passed. They just did it. Shut down the churches, shut down Bible study, shut down bars. They're requiring us to wear a certain type of clothing, masks. If this continues, you're going to see our fashions change. It amazes me how fancy some people's masks are today. They're changing our entire society. And they've done it pretty quick, pretty fast. Not one law passed. All right, listen, we'll take our break 31 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back.
We're chatting today with Frank, the owner of two magnificent Ace Hardware stores. One, Deerfield Beach, 365 South Federal Highway, about a quarter of a mile south of Hillsborough on the west side of Federal Highway. And the other, Beach Ace Hardware, located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, half a block west of A1A in Lauderdale by the Sea. How many years have you owned this business?
I've been in the hardware business for over 40 years, Steve.
If I have a home project that I'm doing, there are so many around the house, that's the big thing today. What's the difference of my experience if I go to Ace Hardware as opposed to these major impersonal chain stores?
Oh, there's a huge difference. The basic difference is customer service. We're an old-time fashion hardware store. We have experienced people that are working our stores. Our employees are just top-notch. They're very experienced. They know their business. When you're doing a project, you can come into the store and you can get somebody that knows what they're doing, somebody that will like to work with you, find you the right project, the right pieces, the first time, so you can get in and out with the right material.
Hold on.
Lots of Ace Hardware stores, but there are only two that are advertising with the Steve Kane Show. We're talking about the Deerfield location, quarter of a mile south of Hillsborough Boulevard on the west side of Federal, and of course the Beach Ace Hardware located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, a half block west of A1A in Lauderdale by the Sea. Very, very special locations. Be sure to mention Steve Kane sent you.
By Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, 33 minutes after 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm Brian. This is The Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. All right, let's go back to the phones. Margate, you're on the radio.
Hi, Steve. My name's Laura. I'm from Margate. I'm calling to see if we can get either phone numbers or addresses of the Broward County mayors, whatever political people that are making all these crazy new laws.
I'm not into protesting. That's not my thing. They don't care. But what you do is you vote all of these guys out of office. You vote straight Republican ticket. If you've only got Democrats to choose from, vote against the incumbent and get them the hell out. Okay? Sitting around protesting is a waste of time.
How about the judges?
Steve Kane Show.
Other than looking up every detail of their adjudication.
Yeah, I know. I got my sample ballot in the mail. The judges and here in South Florida, they don't tell you if they're Republican or Democrat, so you don't know. I mean, it's a mess. But I would say vote against every incumbent, unless they're a Republican. And that's the way it is. But protesting's a waste of time. Vote them out of office.
Okay.
All right, take care. All right, you're on the radio. Good morning.
Hey, Brian, this is Bruce. You were talking about our fashion changing. Oh, you're too late. It already has. A friend of mine posted something on Facebook that she found in a clothing store where they were selling tops with matching masks.
Oh, my gosh. They have the masks built into the tops now?
Well, no, it's made of the same material, so it has the same exact pattern as the top.
Okay.
That.
Okay. I don't know. It's just...
Well, but too late. Somebody already thought of that.
Yeah. Are you in Broward County? So now inside your home, you're being required, according to this story in the Gateway Pundit, to wear facial covering inside your home.
Hey, I don't think they've got that right. It probably has to do with...
I read the order. It says, I read the order.
It has to do with gatherings of people.
Well, who the hell are they to tell you who to have in your home? Who the hell are they to tell you who to have in your home?
Actually,
I've watched these local officials on the local news walking around with code enforcement officers on the weekends, checking out businesses, counting how many people are inside. I mean, what the hell? I thought the local city officials were all about increasing business, not making it decline.
Yeah, they've essentially made working illegal.
What are your thoughts? Did you hear me talking about what the New York Times publicizing Tucker Carlson's home address?
Somewhere else, and I thought that was, they've done this nonsense before, and
Yeah, but it's dangerous. He moved because of it. They're putting his family in danger.
it's stupid. And yet, if you haul them into court and sue them, they'll climb all over the First Amendment not to reveal their sources.
Well, they have the sources. They named the two jerks that they have that are about to do it. They got a reporter and a photographer on it. All right, appreciate the call. It's disgusting what's going on. Now, I'll tell you, here in Florida, we're very lucky in our governor's race that Ron DeSantis won. Andrew Gillum, who was found passed out on the floor of a hotel room in Miami Beach with a gay male prostitute and drugs on the bed. I'll play this coming up in just a bit. Made a statement, made a video he released. He put it up on Instagram yesterday, and we'll play some of that and talk about it in a little bit. Good morning. Yes, you're on the radio.
Yeah, Brian, good morning. I was just wanting to make a statement here. The other lady that called about protesting, you said vote them out of office, but, they're taking all our rights away. What's to say they're not going to take our voting rights?
Oh, we'll be voting in November. You're going to have your right to vote. Don't worry, it won't be taken away. But you got to vote against every Democrat on the ballot and every incumbent on the ballot. Okay, they've got so find it. I can't go through the ballots. Everyone's ballot's different depending on what county they're in, what city they're in. So we're not going to go through ballots, but you got to vote against all the incumbents and vote against every Democrat. And these Democrats in Broward County, I know some in Dade County are Republicans doing this, but what they're doing here in South Florida is disgusting. And I'll tell you this. I got my sample ballot in the mail. Do you know that there's not one Republican running in Palm Beach County to be the supervisor of elections? It's 2 Democrats. Where the hell is the Republican Party?
I was just going to ask you, where's Marco Rubio? Where's Rick Scott? I haven't heard any of you guys.
Well, quite frankly, where's our governor, Ron DeSantis, exposing all this corruption with these state testing facilities where everyone turns up positive?
This to take away our rights, this coronavirus. That's what they're doing.
They've taken away the churches throughout this country. They're in our homes now. They've closed down the bars for the first time since Prohibition.
Marco Rubio, Rick Scott, and our governor, they need to stand against this.
Well, listen, I love, I don't have much use for little Marco. Okay, I'll never run. That's why now he's run because I might have to get a job, so he runs for the Senate again after he said he wouldn't. But I have a lot of respect for Governor DeSantis and Rick Scott, our senator and former governor. They're good guys. But Ron DeSantis needs to get on the ball with the corruption going on at these state testing facilities. He knows more about it than we know because he's the governor and he's being informed. And he needs to be out there and expose this. In fact, I'll tell you this. I'd like to see him get his facts straight on it and be at the coronavirus press conference with the president and talk about what they're doing in Florida. Come on. They're trying to shut down Florida again. And these Democrats down here don't seem to give a damn.
They don't give a damn because they're not Democrats and they're not liberals. They're a bunch of communists.
Well, I don't follow the local politics too much anymore, okay? But I always remember people that became mayors and city commissioners and county commissioners were local business people who wanted to keep the businesses open. I don't know who these people are now that are keeping everything shut. There's no tourist in Florida. I'm going up to Disney World with my daughter again this weekend. It's a ghost town up there. Tourism is our #1 industry in Florida, and we've let them keep it shut down over a bunch of phony numbers that we're getting. There's another story today about state testing facilities that have never had a negative result. How's that possible?
Yeah, they're using this virus to take over everything else.
Well, the virus is real. COVID-19 is real, but there's a lot of corruption going on with it. All right, take care. All right. Good morning. Oh, sorry about that. All right. Our number 1-888 GO CANE one. Listen to this story. Talking about how they're changing our language. The Associated Press on Monday announced that it will continue to keep the term white lowercase in racial, ethnic, and cultural senses. The move follows the Associated Press's decision last month to capitalize black. I know, it sounds stupid and petty, doesn't it? So, white, like white people, lowercase, black people, capitalized. The vice president for standards at the Associated Press noted in a blog post that the news outlet consulted with a wide group of people internally and externally around the globe. They considered a variety of commentary in making these decisions. There was a clear desire and reason to capitalize black, the Associated Press said. Most notably, people who are black have strong historical and cultural commonalities, even if they are from different parts of the world, and even if they now live in different parts of the world. That includes the shared experience of discrimination due solely to the color of one's skin. However, that at the moment there's less support for capitalizing white. The reason, white people generally do not share the same history and culture or experience of being discriminated against because of skin color, the Associated Press noted. I know, this is crazy talk. I know it's insane talk here. In addition, we, Associated Press, are a global news organization, and in much of the world there is considerable disagreement and confusion about whom the term white includes. So white, lowercase, black, capitalized. They're changing the English language is what they're doing. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Hi, Brian. This is Mark from Hollywood. I just wanted to mention what you said about the voting on the ballot. I'm involved with the BREC, the local Republican committee here in Broward County.
Yeah.
We had the judges visit us. So we don't want to vote out the incumbent judges because 2 or 3 of them were appointed by Jeb Bush and also by Rick Scott.
Well, there's one judge that I would say is an incumbent that always should be voted for, and that's Judge Hurley, who I've known for many years. But, Jay Hurley. But listen. The politicians in this, who's the leading Republican that is opposed keeping the businesses shut down in this county?
Oh, the Mayor Hollis?
Who?
Oh, that's the Democrat, the Mayor Hollis.
No. What Republican elected official in Broward County has stood up to the Democrats that have things shut down?
Oh, we got the John Wayne Clark running for sheriff. He's out there very vocal. We have a new person running for a supervisor election.
No. I'm talking about an incumbent. I'm talking about incumbents. Do we have any Republicans in office?
I understand what you were talking about incumbents. I was just talking about the judges.
Let me tell you about these Republicans. Let me tell you, I got my sample ballot in the mail yesterday. Screw them. What are they doing? Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. No, I'm not. Let me give you an example. Slow down and let me give you an example. Let me give you an example, okay? I'm in Palm Beach County. I got my sample ballot yesterday. I am in the district that Laura Loomer is running in. There's a Republican primary in August. Laura Loomer, you know who Laura Loomer is?
Yes, I like her, but she's also got a big mouth.
Oh, she's got a big mouth. Oh. Do you know how many people are running against Laura? How many Republicans are running against Laura Loomer?
I would vote for Laura Loomer.
No, I didn't ask you that. How many do you think? How many Republicans are running against Laura Loomer in the Republican primary?
It's the same thing they're doing to Tony Green.
Okay, so I don't care about Tony whoever. 5. They have 5 Democrats running. I'm sorry, 5 Republicans. They have 5 Republicans running against Laura Loomer in the primary. Let me tell you, I know you don't like her because, what did you say? She has a big mouth? Isn't that what you want in Congress? What do you want? Somebody that sits by and lets them shut down our economy? How can the Republican Party allow 5 jerks to run against Laura Loomer in the Republican primary?
You're not listening, Brian. They're dummy candidates.
Put up by the Republicans. And I'll tell you this. I went through the rest of my ballot. Every other office except one has only 2 people running. But Laura Loomer, there's 6 candidates. Why in Palm Beach County is there not one Republican running to be supervisor of elections? Another corrupt county. Why not?
We have a good person in Palm Beach County.
My sample ballot had 2 people. I've got it down in the car. I don't know if I can go get it during the break, but it's 2 Democrats.
Her name, but the woman who was appointed to be the supervisor of elections in Palm Beach County is a good person, but unfortunately she changed parties when she was appointed. She was a Republican. She changed to Democrat for political reasons. That's what.
Why has the Republican Party allowed 5 Republicans to run against Laura Loomer in a primary?
They don't know. They're being put up by the Democrats.
Bull crap. You know what? I'll tell you what. You're all hooked up, right? Nah, I don't want it. You're all hooked up, right? With the Republicans. Do this. Get me a Republican. Call them up right now. Get a senior Republican on the phone in Broward or Palm Beach to tell me that those 5 Republicans running against Laura Loomer are fake Republicans. And let's go through the names, please. Because let's expose it. So I would call up your Republican friends in Broward.
I hope Laura Loomer wins. I would vote for her.
No, you said she has a big mouth. You said a minute ago. You said she has a big mouth. That was your immediate response when I said her name.
You're the one who's saying it 3 or 4 times.
No, when I said her name, your instinctive response was she's got a big mouth. And you didn't say it in a kind way. Damn right she does. And she doesn't take any crap.
And you want to keep repeating that because maybe you want to hurt Laura Loomer.
What do you... Listen, you talk like a Democrat. Here you are lying. Did you put the phone down? Try to hear yourself on the radio now? Dr. Mitch Matez, my testosterone is all fired up today.
Yes, it is, Brian. Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Listen, Brian, I have a great experience to tell you about. I went to any lab test now on Friday. On Saturday to get COVID-19 tested. And it was awesome. We had a little experience where we had somebody in our close circle that tested positive after 10 days, by the way. Went and had a test. It took 10 days to get the results. We all went into a little bit of a panic, obviously. So we called up Any Lab Test Now. It was about maybe 11:30 in the morning on Saturday. They said, come on right on over. I was anonymous. I didn't announce myself. We went over there. We got there about noon. We checked in. 2 minutes later, they took us back, did our test. We sat in the waiting room for less than 15 minutes. They brought us back, gave us our results, which were negative, and we were on our way home. And a little shout out to Brittany, the nice young lady who did our test. It was it was quick, it was simple, it was easy, and it gave you both the IgM and the IgG antibodies, which tells you if you have the infection now or if...
Now, you went to Any Lab Test Now of Boca?
Boca Raton, yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's great.
I'm telling you, that's the way to go. Forget this 10-day nonsense.
That's awesome. So doctor recommended. Can I say that in the commercial now? Doctor recommended. Any Lab Test Now of Boca Raton.
Doctor recommended. Yeah, it was really kind of cool and it was wonderful. And it was to that end, go get tested. Think twice before you go over and get tested. All kinds of stuff are going on with these tests, and I have a number of examples of people receiving positive results that did not. I'm aware of people that even did not get tested and got positive results, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Test you want to get, all right? The real test. It tells you point blank, did you have it, do you have it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's the show, Brian, I'm going to call. I got all kinds of nonsense to tell you about.
Well, that's great. So Dr. Mitch Matez personally recommending Any Lab Test Now of Boca and the tester El Cheapo too. They charge very little for these tests. Believe me, they could charge a lot more if they were like that. So Dr. Matez, thanks for that plug for Any Lab Test Now of Boca. What's going on in the world of your practice?
Well, pretty much the same thing. You know, if you want to have a really nice, good experience and get your hormones in order, come here. I drive around Brian. Everybody does hormone therapy. You and I have known each other a long time. When we met, I was the option. Yeah. Everybody does it everywhere now. I know there's a lot of people I'm talking to right now that are already on hormone therapy or they've been on hormone therapy. If you want it done right, come and see me. I've been doing this for a long time. I have it pretty much down to a science. We have a protocol we follow that makes sure that just about everybody who comes will get better. You know, sometimes you have to work at it, but we do.
Well, you know what I compare it to, Dr. Vitez, is when Botox was new, every doctor, that no matter what type of doctor they were, was doing Botox. Primary care physicians and family practices were doing Botox, and that's like, whoa, wait a minute, I want to go to a Botox expert. Well, you know, that's what's going on now with hormone therapy. And you originated hormone replacement pellet therapy here in South Florida. You've had hundreds, if not thousands, of patients over the years. And people need to go see you, all right? And Dr. Vitez, a free consultation for listeners of the Steve Kane Show. His number, 561-953-5490. And by the way, if you're seeing another doctor for hormone therapy, go see Dr. Vitez. It's not going to cost you anything. And you'll probably make the very wise decision to switch. 561-953-5490. And online, hormonetherapybocaratone.com. All right, Dr. Vitez, take care. We'll talk later in the week. All right, take care. All right, let's go to Bob in West Boca. Hey, Bob.
Hey, Brian, good morning. On the ballot, I know, like you said, on the supervisor of elections, the one that DeSantis put in there, I believe her first name is Wendy. That's the one he put in there when he threw the other one out for fraud and all that other baloney.
Okay, so is that one of the Democrats that's running?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I hope she doesn't have a background like the sheriff he put in. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, well, listen. What are your thoughts on the Republicans having 5 Republicans running against Laura Loomer? That's outrageous.
It's the swamp. It's the same. It's all the rhinos.
The never-Trumpers.
Lois, right. They want to keep Lois Franco because she plays ball.
Well, you heard that guy from the Broward Republican Executive Committee. She's got a big mouth, he said.
Yeah, you know something? They like those slick used car salesmen like Obama that speak well.
Yeah, like Andrew Gillum. That was like Andrew Gillum, right?
Exactly. Anybody that I know that doesn't like Obama, the first thing out of their mouth is, I don't like the way Trump talks.
Well,
how about a result?
Well, I'm going to throw this out. The caller said that they're fake Republicans. If there's anyone from the local Republican Party who can go through these 5 Republicans running against Laura Loomer and explain and prove to me that all 5 of them are fake Republicans put up by the Democrats, we're all ears. We're here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 a.m. Call in and let us know. But I was disgusted when I got my ballot in the mail and saw that there's 6 people running in that primary. Every other race on the ballot except one only has 2 people, and the other one that has more than 2 only has 3.
Exactly. The first thing I did, though, I colored in Laura Loomer because that's the one I'm voting for.
I sent her a text message immediately when I opened up the ballot and told we got to have you on the show, and I'm going to talk to her specifically about this. I haven't told her that's what I want to talk to her about yet, but if she's listening, Laura Loomer.
I don't know if it's going to do any good, but I'm going to call up the Republican Party of Palm Beach County and find out what the hell's going on.
Well, what they're trying to now what she's got going for her is she's famous, and I don't even know who these other jokers are on the ballot. Okay, so she's got name recognition, which is in her favor. But when you've got a 6-way race, it's it's not good.
No, I know.
All right, Bob. Appreciate the call. All right. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
I got to agree with that gentleman just called, man. It's corrupt. Even the Republican Party isn't playing.
Did you hear when I said Laura Loomer's name, the Republican said she's got a big mouth? Like you're damn right she does, and I'm glad, I'm happy that... First time I heard of Laura Loomer, She was covering the story about the security guard at the Las Vegas shooting. Remember that? That Las Vegas shooting that's disappeared? And she went to the home where the security guard lived live on Periscope. And I'm like, who is this girl? You know what I mean? And she's amazing. And she'll be. Do you know if Laura Loomer wins against Lois Frankel, she'll be the youngest woman ever elected to Congress, younger than even AOC.
She's definitely would be a good addition, but
Yeah, maybe the squad would let her join.
They'll hate her, I'm sure, but I'm hoping she'll win. But who knows? Everybody's set in their ways in voting, and they'll.
I mean, come on. They've got five Republicans running against her in a primary. What the hell's that all about? How is that even allowed? They cannot all be fake candidates. I'm sure some of them are rogue egomaniacs. And if you're one of those Republicans running against Laura Loomer in the primary, shame on you. Run for something else. There's a lot of other things to run for. Shame on you. Okay, not only is she's the favorite. This is a Democrat race up against Lois Frankel, who's I call Lois Frankel the Nancy Pelosi of Florida. Okay, she's part of the Democrat machine. She's been around forever, and she's tough to beat in a Democrat county. Loomer is the only person that has a chance, and we got all these egomaniacs that are out there screwing up things. These never Trumpers and establishment Republicans that are trying to cost her the primary to ensure Lois Frankel. Let me tell you, Laura Loomer is a rock star. She is famous. She's almost a household name. She's making the rounds in the district, talking to different groups all over the place. She's been doing this for a long time. She has got a real chance to beat this Nancy Pelosi of South Florida, Lois Frankel, and you got the Republican establishment trying to get the Democrat incumbent reelected.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping she's going to be like a Trump and fool everybody and win, and everybody will be happy.
Well, she's got to get through this primary, and I mean, I was appalled by it, and let me tell you, other people that are running, I know some of these people have called this on the show. I know they have. There are people listening to me right now who are either one of those 5 jerks running against Laura Loomer or are connected to them. Okay. So call, if it's you, call in. If you know one of these jokers, I'll be polite. I won't call them a creep or anything. But have one of these creeps, I won't call them a creep when they're on the phone. Have one of these 5 people trying to give, Republicans, try to give this seat back to Lois Frankel. Call me on the air and tell me why they are running against Laura Loomer. I want to hear a very good reason. And if they have a good reason, I'll say, okay, I'm voting for Laura Loomer. Okay?
Who paid for their, you have to pay money to become a candidate, unless you have 5,000 signatures. I'd like to know who paid. That might be interesting to find out.
Yeah.
How these people...
And I'm telling you, I would not be surprised if they, I don't know if it's too late for this now, or if she wins the primary, watch them put up some phony libertarian candidate or something to try to divide the Republican vote yet again. Listen. This is not just my district Loomer's running in. This is the district of the President of the United States. And you have the Republican establishment trying to give the district that Mar-a-Lago, the Southern White House sits in, the one where the President and First Lady vote in, back to the Nancy Pelosi of South Florida, Lois Frankel.
I hope that's not it, but I think you might be right, unfortunately. But
I might be right. You might be crazy. Right? Billy Joel. All right, take care, Doug. 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back.
0.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
We are chatting today with Frank, the owner of 2 magnificent Ace Hardware stores. One, Deerfield Beach, 365 South Federal Highway, about a quarter of a mile south of Hillsborough on the west side of Federal Highway. And the other, Beach Ace Hardware, located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, half a block west of A1A in Lauderdale by the Sea. Well, one of the things I noticed when I first walked into Ace Hardware is that you carry such a wide variety of the big brands, all under one roof. It's astounding.
That's Ace's new practice. It's called Best Brands. And under one roof, we have major categories. Let me give you an example of two. Yeti coolers, Craftsman hand tools, Milwaukee hand tools, Steel power equipment, Benmore paint, Weber grills, Napoleon grills, Traeger grills, Big Green Egg. We are a platinum dealer. We have the largest selection of Green Egg products, all under one roof. All with people that are experienced can show you how to use these products.
Welcome everyone. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, all right?
Two that are advertising with the Steve Kane Show. We're talking about the Deerfield location, quarter of a mile south of Hillsborough Boulevard, on the west side of Federal, and of course the Beach Ace Hardware, located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, a half block west of A1A in Lauderdale by the Sea. Very special locations. Be sure to mention Steve Kane sent you.
Hey, what's up? Okay, you've been listening at all, or I got a lot of stuff on? I called at 7:30 like 4 or 5 times. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm a little distracted while I'm on there, but I called at 7:30 like 4 or 5 times. Okay, hold on.
For my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65.
Yes, get me to 5,000 subs, please, guys,
These prices
please.
are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing, and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection.
I'd be so happy if I got to 5,000 subs.
At just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire.
I'm 651 away, though.
We'll give you a great low price right over the phone at 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445.
Good morning, Debbie.
Online, friendlytire.net.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Veterans and spouses of veterans, you may be entitled to benefits that you are not aware of, including long-term care benefits. Call attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group and find out what benefits are available to you. With offices in Boca Raton and Fort Lauderdale, call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782. 1-855-FLA-3782.
Yeah, I'm right.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. Call the show toll free.
Yes, yes. Welcome back. Third and final hour has begun. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show, on the radio since 1977, 4 minutes after 8. I'm Brian. We've got Steve Kane on the line from the under construction Steve Kane Radio Studio in Cooper City. Good morning, Steve. Oh man, there's the terrible things are happening. Terrible things are happening. Well, Fox News' primetime lineup is under major attack. They got one Fox News guy under a rape charge. They're threatening Tucker Carlson's family.
What a bunch of creeps.
Well, let me play this for people that are just tuning in. This is Tucker Carlson last night. The New York Times, they are putting Tucker Carlson, his wife, and children in danger.
Last week, the New York Times began working on a story about where my family and I live. As a matter of journalism, there is no conceivable justification for a story like that. The paper is not alleging we've done anything wrong, and we haven't. We pay our taxes, we like our neighbors, we've never had a dispute with anyone. So why is the New York Times doing a story on the location of my family's house? Well, you know why. To hurt us. To injure my wife and kids so that I will shut up and stop disagreeing with them.
Yeah, and they've got a reporter and a photographer on it. Tucker called the New York Times yesterday, asked them not to do it, and they told him to go, told him no, they're going to do it. Scary. Steve Kane Show.
He was also making noises like he was going to perhaps return the favor and reveal the editors.
This is pretty bad, especially after what happened to him already when Antifa went. He moved from his other house with his family because they publicized it, the liberals. Antifa went to his house. And now they're going to put in the New York Times his new address, and and after what happened with that St. Louis couple to do this, it's the most irresponsible journalism I've ever seen.
Well, I wouldn't even call it journalism. It's these people know no shame, and it's just typical of what's going on out there.
Well, I had a liberal call in today and said, well, he's a racist.
Agrees with them, no doubt.
So it justifies that. Now, and yeah.
Tucker was making noises like he was going to perhaps reveal the editor of the Times' address on your show.
Yeah.
Fair play.
Yeah. All right, you want to take some calls? All right. Christian Knuckles. Hey, Christian Knuckles.
Hey, I'm wondering when the media is going to start telling us the recovery rate. It's like 99.9%.
Yeah.
And if you insist on hydroxychloroquine, it's 99.99%.
Yeah. Well, that would interfere with the narrative.
Yeah. I know.
You know, there was a story today, and it's another story following up over the weekend, that there are state-run testing facilities that have never had a negative result. How's that possible? Yeah.
Well, I think
I
think
yeah.
they got the right idea by bringing back those 5 o'clock news conferences with Donald Trump. I think that'll have the desired effect of waking people up.
That's why he's doing it. You know, I love our governor, but he needs to get out there. He needs to be at one of these press conferences with the president exposing the corruption at these Florida state labs.
Yeah. Are they doing anything about it?
I haven't heard anything being done about it. Nothing. It's being reported, but then I don't see anything happening. I mean, they don't even have a false negative? I mean, how's that possible? They have... No, it's not possible. Yeah. All right, Christian Knuckles.
With a woman at Publix, she said, "You're not wearing a mask and you might give it to me." I said, "Wait a minute, you're scared, you're wearing a mask, how can I give it to you?" First of all, I don't have it. Second of all, if I had it, you couldn't get it. So anyway, yeah, that's the other thing. I took the test at St. John's Missionary Baptist Church in Boynton Beach, and I got my results in 50.
Yeah, well, that's good. I'm glad you don't. All right, take care. Oh my goodness. I know it's terrible. It's terrible. You know, did you see Andrew Gillum released a statement, Steve? Yeah. Now, for those that don't, Andrew Gillum thought he was going to be the next Obama. He was the Democrat running for governor against Ron DeSantis. He lost, and I don't know. A couple months back, he was found passed out on the floor of a Miami Beach hotel room with a gay male prostitute passed out in a bed with drugs all around the hooker. And he released a statement yesterday. Let me play it for you. I'm not going to play the whole thing. It went on for 11 minutes. I'll just play the beginning here. This is Andrew Gillum.
Hello, everybody. This is Andrew Gillum. I know it's been a while since we've had an opportunity to connect. But as many of you know, I decided to take some time away to on myself, deal with some issues with alcoholism. Having grown up in a household where my father battled addiction to alcohol and later died.
I don't hear him mentioning anything about the gay hooker or the drugs. Yeah.
That deadly addiction. I know well the toll that alcohol can take on not only the individual, but also on the family. I know well the toll that it took on my father.
Blaming his dad.
Hopes on his ambitions. And I knew...
This guy, he thinks he's going to have a comeback.
Alcoholic, what can I say?
Alcoholic. He should be so lucky to just have an alcohol problem. I mean, he didn't, you know, this went on for almost 12 minutes. I won't play any more of it, but He didn't once mention the hotel room, how he ended up passed out on the floor with this gay prostitute that had drugs on the bed around the prostitute. None of that. It was just all like he's got drinking too much beer, I guess. He did talk about how he was depressed when he lost the election because of all the goodness that he felt he couldn't do all the goodness he was going to bring to the governor's mansion, but
doing that.
Trying to get back in politics, it sounds like. He goes on. Let me play a little bit more of it. This is so pathetic.
I want to recycle many of those same issues from my children, that I had to do something about it, and I had to do it now. With a lot of encouragement from family and the people who love and care about me, I also got into therapy where I could start to talk through some of what was going on with me. I knew that if I had not dealt first with issues of addiction and the numbing that I chose with alcohol, there was no way.
Still no mention of the gay hooker in the bed in the hotel room. I don't know. It seems like he went to the wrong rehab. Or he's not dealing with his real problems. Oh my goodness.
Sounds like he's got a lot of work to do.
I've known a lot of drunks in my life. I've never known a drunk to end up passed out on the floor of a Miami hotel room with a gay prostitute in the bed before. That's pretty hardcore. All right, let's take some calls. Good morning. Good morning. Call. Yes.
Tucker Carlson will win a lawsuit if he sues on the grounds of willful infliction of emotional distress. He's got a track record with the New York Times. He's severely suffered in the past. He'll win a lawsuit with a good lawyer.
Well, what good does that do after they've already endangered his family?
Do any good as far as endangering his family, but it gives them a penalty.
Let me ask you this, Cole. Let me ask you this. If the polls, let me ask you this. If the polls were correct and Trump was losing, would the New York Times be doing this to Tucker Carlson?
Of course not.
Yeah. It's an indicator that Trump's winning big time.
Trump, all the information I'm getting, which is anecdotal all throughout Florida, though, is that he's going to get 35% of the black vote. He's going to get 35% of the working class black vote.
That's why they're panicked.
The Democrats are done for it in Florida. Come the election.
I hope you're right.
Frankel goes, we got to be able to do something to get her elected as far as the...
We talking about Loomer? Well, no, what I was talking about, Steve, before you joined, there's a Republican primary for Laura Loomer's congressional seat next month. I'm in Laura Loomer's district. I'll be voting for Laura Loomer. Listen to this, Steve. The Republican establishment have 5 Republicans running against Laura Loomer in the primary.
So we have met the enemy, and the enemy is us.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we got to defeat the Democrats and the Republicans.
It's a miracle.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate the call, Colin. Thanks so much. Now, this thing that they're doing to... Remember they did the same thing to Sarah Palin? They had the reporter move in next door to her house in Alaska?
Yeah.
I mean, that's scary. Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean...
He's a tough guy. By the way, just to divert for a second, did you see when Tucker was doing his monologue, he took a shot at Hannity?
I missed that.
Yes. Well, he didn't name Hannity, but he talked about he doesn't believe in talking about himself.
Yes, I did see that.
So it was wonderful. And Hannity, actually, it had an effect on Hannity. When Hannity finally got on the air, it took him about 5 minutes before he brought himself up again.
Oh, that's an eternity.
For Hannity, it is.
Even Hannity, I did hear that. I clipped that out of I didn't put that in the Tucker part because he went on. I could pull it up during the break online, I guess, and maybe play it. But yeah, I'll see if I can pull it up during the break. But I did catch that. Hannity, even he had the governor of Missouri on, and then he wasted time talking to the governor of Missouri about how his family used to pronounce, is it Missouri or Missouri? Yeah, I mean, give me a break, Hannity, with his karate.
Hannity is, in my estimation, is Hannity getting worse.
No, he's getting worse.
It is, because he's not the big cheese around there anymore since...
Oh, he's compensating?
Oh, yeah. Trying to pick up for it. You know.
There's more narcissism.
Get back to his number one feeling.
Okay, I just pulled it up on my iPad, so let me play this. This is the beginning of Tucker's monologue. I don't have it in what I've been playing on the air today, but this was the lead-in to him talking about the New York Times, and this is when Steve says he's taking a shot at Hannity.
The last thing this country needs is more narcissism. It's not very interesting anyway. People who use the word...
Hold on, let me rewind it. So you can hear. There we go.
The last thing this country needs is more narcissism. It's not very interesting anyway. People who use the word I a lot tend to bore everyone but themselves. But tonight we're going to make an exception to that rule. We don't have much choice.
Okay, you're right. That is Hannity he's talking about.
Narcissism. It's not very...
Oh my goodness. That...
And actually, Hannity stopped doing it for about 5 minutes there, right after.
Oh, that was like I wonder how that went down. Was Hannity watching, or did somebody... I don't think anybody would point it out to Hannity that he's full of himself. He must have been watching.
It was in the intro, it was in the crossover, wasn't it?
You know, I watched it online. I saw it online. I wasn't watching it live, so I don't know if he began or ended his show with it.
I wonder how many I was...
Was that at the beginning or the end of the show when Tucker? Guess what? Which...
It was the beginning of Tucker's part.
Wait, was it at the beginning of Tucker's show or the end of his show?
The beginning.
Oh, okay. So Hannity was watching.
He was there.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
You to break out between the two of them.
Hannity's probably very difficult to work around. And now they got a rape allegation against Fox News' Ed Henry. I mean, they're... Yeah, I read the whole story earlier. This happened a few years back. There was a girl who was 24 at the time. She said he coerced her into sex. They had a sexual relationship, and then he violently raped her. He handcuffed her, violently raped her in a hotel... at a hotel used by Fox, and there was sex in the office at Fox, and that he violently raped her. Now, of course, she didn't go to the police. Apparently, he's in the bondage. He forced her to perform oral sex on him.
Yeah, well.
That seems like a very dangerous thing to force upon a woman.
Innocent until proven guilty.
That's if you're being forced into such an action, the reaction from the woman should be bite. Right? I mean...
I don't know, I'm skeptical about the whole thing. You really buy this?
I believe that they had a consensual affair.
Admit that.
Yeah. Ed Henry's people, I think, are admitting that happened, but I don't think she was raped. No, I don't think she was. Why? And if she was, why didn't she go to the police? Why is it a lawsuit and not the police? They went after Harvey Weinstein in New York years after on criminal charges.
We live in difficult times.
Yeah. All right, listen, we'll take our break. Okay. It is, what time is it? Oh, my goodness, 20 minutes after 8. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll be right back.
This is Steve Kane, and I wanted to share with you some thoughts about why I chose the Gardens of Boca Raton to be my final resting place. I have always been uncomfortable with thoughts of death and dying, but the very first time that I visited the Gardens of Boca Raton, I could feel my apprehensions vanish. Just knowing that I'd be spending eternity with my family in such magnificent surroundings lifted my spirits. The Gardens of Boca Raton is an all-faith, above-ground cemetery with tranquil surroundings, a place where your loved ones can come and visit you time and time again, remembering and celebrating your life. The gardens have caring professionals available to help you in your time of need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pre-need with 0% financing is available and prevents your family from having to deal with these matters at the time of their grief and sorrow. The Gardens of Boca Raton, dedicated to all those who have lived and all those who live today. Let the Gardens take care of your family as they are taking care of my family. Schedule a tour today. Call 877-PLAN-561 or online at thegardens.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
You're stuck in your home and the dog days of summer are coming. It's already happening on the hot days in the late afternoon and early evenings. Your air conditioner is running more and more and may even run constantly, struggling to keep your home cool and hold the temperature that you have it set on. And in some homes it can't even keep up, losing the battle. And the temperature in your house climbs and you're hot, humid, and uncomfortable. And to top it all off, your electric bill is about to double or even triple. Here comes summer. The cure is reflective and/or blown insulation. Stop the heat gain and cut your electric bill up to 35% off. Act now and get the pandemic special, our off-season sale. Act now. Save 50% on reflective and/or blown insulation and cut your electric bill up to 35%. Call Scott from CutMyKilowatts.com at 954-939-1500. That's 954-939-1500. CutMyKilowatts.com. Put your house in the shade today.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
Oh, man. And, Steve, I got to give a big thank you to Ed Jr. and Sr. over at Champagne Automotive Repair. They gave me my car back. It's almost like I got a brand new car. My car that has not been running for the past 2 or 3 years, took it over to Champagne Auto. I got it back last week. They did the repairs. It runs showroom new, my Ford Explorer I keep talking about. And let me tell you, the most difficult type of sponsor to find, someone that we could trust to send you all to, is automotive repair, because they have such a bad reputation, automotive repair shops, right? Champagne Automotive Repair will never do a repair on your vehicle that your vehicle does not need, all right? They worked on Steve's car and did just a fabulous job. Steve had body work done.
Yeah, they do body work as well. Beautiful, but I'm sure what they do.
Yeah, I you know, that car, I'm in shock. They matched up you had to get a new bumper put on the front of the car, and they matched up that paint to the rest of the vehicle. It's amazing. On my car, they did mechanical work, and it does run showroom new. I had them check out the entire car, and you know, they found the 2 things wrong that I knew were wrong, that it needed brakes, and I had a coolant leak, and they repaired it, and it's just beautiful. They also worked on my daughter's car and did a great job on her vehicle as well. So listen, call Champagne Automotive Repair. They do everything from oil changes to AC work to body work to transmission work. They do it all. They're in Boca, and I know we've had listeners that have driven an hour each way to go to Champagne Automotive Repair, because it's worth it when, you know, you're looking for honest and great, and by the way, their prices are fantastic too. Automotive Repair, 561-245-8101, 561-245-8101, listed at SteveKaneShow.com. Yeah, so now they got that rape allegation against Fox News' Ed Henry. You know, this defund the police movement's gotten really out of control, Steve. Remember Keith Ellison?
Yes.
Yeah, he's the Attorney General of, what is it, Minnesota or something now? Top cop in his state. He was on a Zoom meeting with some liberals, and he was talking about the new police force, okay? And and he uses an example of a woman who has been raped. This is the audio. This is from a Zoom call from over the weekend. Keith Ellison.
If you're a woman who's been a victim of a sexual assault and the assailant has ran away, wouldn't you rather talk to somebody who is trained in helping you deal with what you're dealing with, as opposed to somebody whose main training is that they know how to use a firearm, right? if you're a woman,
that's amazing. So, if you're a woman who has been raped and you call 911, he thinks you would rather talk to a counselor and social worker as opposed to police officers. Now, keep in mind, you've got a rapist who's escaped and is on the run. The first thing you want to do is talk to the real police so that they can track down and capture the man who's raped you. You could talk to the grief counselor and social worker later that night. That's what the defund the police movement has become. They want to transform the police from what we know into social workers.
What do you think Trump's waiting for going in? Because he keeps saying he's going in, and we're still waiting.
Well, he said, how many FBI agents is he sending, federal agents he's sending to Chicago?
250.
Yeah, and what are they supposed to do? Clean up the gun violence in Chicago? What are they going to do in Chicago?
I don't know, but I can tell you I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I've been around for 80 years, most of that time interested in current events and politics. I've never... You would think that just all the violence that's occurring would be enough to do in the Biden candidacy in and of itself.
You know what it's like? It's like the Purge.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not like the Purge, it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, yeah, that's right. Well, Biden yesterday was giving an interview.
Brian and I, we love these cinema references. The Purge and also Escape from New York. Snake Plissken. Like,
well, at least in Escape from New York, it was a prison still. They considered it a prison. They put up a wall and that's it, I mean, I want you to think about this. You mentioned Escape from New York, which is, I think, one of the greatest movies ever made. I love that movie. I've seen it so many times. Well, I love John Carpenter. But, oh, really? What's his best? I've never seen The Fog. So, I'm sure it's on Netflix. Okay. Well, I can't make the comparison because I haven't seen it. But would you rather, think about this question before you answer. Would you rather live in a New York City that was run by Mayor de Blasio or a New York City that was run by the Duke of New York? Which would be safer?
I don't know.
The Duke of New York. That's right.
That's cool.
He's a number one. Who was the actor that played the Duke of New York? Does anybody remember? No, Kurt Russell was Snake Plissken. The Duke of New York was the guy that drove around with the Cadillac with the chandeliers on the hood. But now you talk about things ending Biden's campaign. I mean, every day he gave an interview yesterday to Joy Reid, and he was completely incoherent. Listen.
A whole group of lawyers who are going out to every voter registration physician in the states.
Wow, they're going to polling physicians. You meant polling precincts, and I know people. Oh, he misspoke. No, he's incoherent, and that happens every time he speaks.
So I don't know.
I mean, he's just got a free pass.
It seems to me that things boils down to this new vaccine. If they get this new vaccine out by October, I think it's over. I think Trump will win in a...
What Trump is going up against, like I told you, the Republicans have 5 people going up against Loomer. John Kasich, the Republican former governor of Ohio, who's run for president, is going to go to the Democrat convention to endorse Biden.
I think those things backfire. I think that there are a lot of... Well, that's what we got to hope for. I mean, we got to hope that people are paying attention. It's hard to imagine that with what's going on in this country now, people are going to get up and support Biden, who basically supports all this violence.
Yeah.
For eliminating the police.
Yeah. I know. I mean, Biden it's not just that he's weak. I mean, he's totally checked out. He's just checked out. And, you know, a lot of people think that this time the vice president's important. A lot of people think that the plan is, if Biden were to win, for him to resign early on and let the vice president become president, whoever she is. The favorite is, you're going to say no way, but the favorite is Elizabeth Warren. The Democrats love her.
I wouldn't say no way. I mean, she's got more experience than any of the...
The next time you talk to your hippie sister in California, ask her about Elizabeth Warren. She'll praise her for hours, I bet.
I
mean,
here she is.
No, they know she's a big star. Liberals love her.
My sister isn't that into the politics of more into, you know, watching. Who's her favorite talk shows?
Oh, Rachel Maddow, the fly fisherman.
So to say it.
Yeah. Well, have you seen Kamala Harris in the last few days?
No.
Oh my goodness, she's had the worst. She looks like she's gone to Michael Jackson's cosmetic doctor. Her skin looks lighter, and her face, she's almost unrecognizable. I would not know it was her if it didn't have her name under her face on the screen. Yeah, she's done it. She's gone through this massive cosmetic work. It's very bad too. Very bad cosmetic work, but she's gone through a lot. So a lot of people are picking her as the favorite. That she's having all this cosmetic work for the prior to the convention, so it settles. But she's had, when I say Michael Jackson's cosmetic doctor, I'm not kidding. She looks so bad. This is some of the worst cosmetic work I've ever seen. Yeah. All right, listen, it's time for the bottom of the hour break, all right? We'll take that break and we'll be right back. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back.
We are chatting today with Frank, the owner of two magnificent Ace Hardware stores. One, Deerfield Beach, 365 South Federal
Good morning,
Highway,
everyone. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, all right?
West side of Federal Highway. And the other, Beach Ace Hardware, located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, half a block west of A1A in Lauderdale by the Sea. Well, one of the things I noticed when I first walked into Ace Hardware is that you carry such a wide variety of the big brands.
Well, you can call us on the air if you want to talk about it.
That's Ace's new practice. It's called Best Brands. And under one roof, we have major categories. Let me give you an example of two. Yeti coolers, Craftsman hand tools, Milwaukee hand tools, Steel power equipment, Benmore paint, Weber grills, Napoleon grills, Traeger grills, Big Green Egg. We are a platinum dealer. We have the largest selection of Green Egg products, all under one roof. All with people that are experienced can show you how to use these products.
There are lots of Ace Hardware stores, but there are only two that are advertising with the Steve Kane Show. We're talking about the Deerfield location, a quarter of a mile south of Hillsborough Boulevard on the west side of Federal, and of course the Beach Ace Hardware located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, a half block west of A1A in Lauderdale by the Sea. Very, very special locations. Be sure to mention Steve Kane Show.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Veterans and spouses of veterans, you may be entitled to benefits that you are not aware of, including long-term care benefits. Call attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group and find out what benefits are available to you. With offices in Boca Raton and Fort Lauderdale, call toll-free 1-855 FLA 3782 1-855 FLA 3782.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show, live at Morning Drive on 1470 AM and 95.
That's right. All right, we got Steve on the line, and it's time to check in with Richard Pearl from Simply Natural. Richard Pearl, good morning.
Good morning. Well, yesterday I spoke about, I did this on Saturday's show in depth about, the point of T cells, how important they are to the immune health of somebody, especially when it deals with the virus, in this case, coronavirus. And not to focus strictly on antibodies. Well, they're now talking about that. There was a result out yesterday There was a whole piece. There were 3 studies that were published. One was in the Lancet, and one was about from the University of Oxford and AstraZeneca. That was the one in the Lancet. And there were 2 other studies that were published that showed that the vaccines that they're developing now are looking at T cells for immune improvement. And this was something that should have been looked at from the beginning. I think it's why people in the health food store have done so well with their customers, is because we were always focused on T cells, because this is the part of the immune system that actually goes after and kills things in host cells, which the host cells will have the virus in them. And so T cells will go and they'll kill them, particularly natural killer cells. So people in our industry, the health food industry, were way ahead of the curve, no pun intended, but we weren't flattening curve, we were actually using the curve properly, which was kill the host cells that have viruses in them, stimulate the T cell response. This is why I told people take beta-glucans, for instance, because that does that. And this is something that it's just amazing to me that a guy in my position who's never went to Harvard and never went to medical school clear that you needed to boost the T cells. And everything I've been saying, I started on your show on March 2nd, everything I've ever said basically was to boost your innate immune system, particularly T cells. And now you've got the major journals, medical journals, all saying what little old Richard said for 3 or 4 months.
They must listen to your call-ins on the show, Richard Pearl. Yeah.
On the outcome, because guys like me can think on our own. We're critical thinkers, and we can see clearly. It's amazing.
Well, you know what? I've known Richard Pearl. I've known you for a long, long time, and I've never known you that maybe I'm sure it's happened at some point, but I've never known you to be under the weather or sick. Yeah. When's the last time you were sick? Really?
7 days a week. I put in stupid long hours, and I'm 59 years old, and some weeks I put in 100 hours in a week. I've never been sick once.
That's absolutely amazing. Listen, Richard Pearl, his store, Simply Natural, is open 7 days a week, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. They're located in Sunrise, just north of Sunset Strip on the east side of University. Give them a call, all right? 954-741-4045. 954-741-4045. And if you can't make it into the store, whether you're out of town or even local, Simply Natural does ship. 954-741-4045. Richard Pearl, we will talk tomorrow. All right, take care, take care. You know what? George Will says for the first time in his life, he's going to vote for a Democrat, Joe Biden. He's never voted for a Democrat for any office, and he's been voting since '64 when he voted for Barry Goldwater. George Will. What a jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an idiot. He should be forever barred from any conservative media. I wonder, is this just a personal thing with Trump, or has he been a fraud his whole life?
I don't know. It just makes you wonder, though. I mean, with what goes on like television screens every night, and it used to just be weekends. Now it's during the week too. They've expanded it, new expanded hours for the terrorists.
Well, there's been all over Twitter from journalists, this tweet has been going on, the Justice Department to announce criminal charges in national security cyber matter today. So there's going to be some big announcement today, and they're telling us that there very well may be indictments already in the Durham probe that have not been announced yet.
But I don't know, we've got so many false hopes, false leads, it's hard to...
Yeah. All right, let's take some calls. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. Well, for his first Democrat vote, that's certainly not his best choice.
Well, this is the thing with George Will, okay? It's one thing not to personally like Trump, But to vote, if for him to vote for Joe Biden is for everything that George Will has said he's against his entire life. Everything.
Biden is a vote for terrorism.
Yeah, that's right. So I just wonder if George Will has always been a closeted Democrat. I wonder.
What's going on because, yeah, that's not good. That exposes a whole lot more than his words. But yeah, Steve, man, you my kind of guy. First, you got the BS detector last weekend. I had two things that thrilled me this weekend. One was getting a good price on a pressure cleaner at the swap shop. The second was I picked up an widescreen, unrated version of The Fog, one of my favorite blockbusters.
The Fog is a great movie.
Oh my goodness, they don't make them like they used to. I mean, that's it. They, my brother and I used to speak.
You remember who else was in it? Adrienne Barbeau was in it.
Oh, she was in Escape from New York. Was she in The Fog too? She was the Brains' girlfriend in Escape from New York.
Carpenter worked with her a lot.
Well, if you saw Adrienne Barbeau these days, it might spoil The Fog for you.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah. You can report and compare it to Escape from New York. Which John Carpenter film is better? Is it better? Is The Fog better than They Live? That's a Carpenter movie.
They Live is
well, you know what? It's timing, really. I don't know if it's apples and oranges. I mean, Escape from New York has its own, key.
I heard it. I listened to an interview not that long ago with John Carpenter on the WTF podcast. John Carpenter said that They Live, the aliens are Reagan Republicans. It's an anti-Ronald Reagan movie.
Is that right?
That's what John Carpenter says.
Jeez.
I know, right? I don't see it that way.
That's reaching a little.
Yeah, I think so. I was surprised.
Who played the lead in They Live?
Oh, everybody knows that. Oh, I know. You don't know, Chris?
Oh, me? No, not at all. No.
The late Rodney Piper. Or is it Roddy Piper? Roddy, not Rodney. Roddy. I'm pretty sure he's dead. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's dead. Yeah. Yeah, Roddy Piper, yeah. I think if he was alive, I would have heard from him. I think he's dead. I'll look online, but I think he died.
He was great in that movie, too.
Yeah. That would I say, that's Carpenter's second best movie after Escape from New York. I haven't seen The Fog. I'll try to watch The Fog this week so I can have an educated... What do you think, Chris, about the New York Times giving out the home where Tucker Carlson lives with his children and his wife, giving out the address?
The election, I don't put anything past the time.
Yeah.
They're stuck. But you know what? They're one of the people that are going to be hurt the worst, probably, if they get the candidate they think they want.
Yeah, Roddy Piper has died, I've been told in the chat room. Yeah, I thought he was dead. Yeah, is Rick... No? I don't know. What about Ric Flair? Is Ric Flair dead or alive? I don't know. He might be the last of the wrestlers, the great wrestlers. Ric Flair, if he's alive.
And a lot of the wrestlers, unfortunately, didn't make it to 50 for some reason.
Probably steroids. Steroids, maybe? Ric Flair's alive. I saw Ric Flair wrestle once in person. Oh my gosh. This guy in the audience, and this was not set up because I knew who this guy was. A guy in the audience took a knife out of his pocket and pulled it on Ric Flair. Yeah, it was in the front row. Threatened he was going to cut Ric Flair. Yeah.
Remember when I was working with the WWF and they made me a ring announcer?
Yeah.
Down and do their event. And Macho Man Randy Savage did a bit with me where he staged it where I came down and presented a bouquet of roses to Miss Elizabeth.
Yeah, I do. See, Ron DeSantis was right. The professional wrestling is an essential business. That's why he let them reopen in Florida. It's not like the old days, though. All right, Chris, take care. Take care. Now, the New York Times, by the way, has released a statement on Twitter denying Tucker Carlson's claim that they were going to out his home.
them off.
Yeah, because he said on TV last night he called them, and they refused. So
Public.
Yeah. All right, listen, let's take our last break of the day, all right, and come back with the Gold Report. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll be right back after this.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beat. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges.
Hey there.
Friendly
Oh,
Tire
you
has
sound
a great
great.
selection of good used tires
Are you there?
too, starting at
Yeah,
just
you do.
$30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone at 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for.
All right, we are back. It's time for the Gold Report with William Youngerman. William Youngerman, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Just settled. It was a big day. Today gold closed up 40 cents.
You're right, Judy. I forgot. I'll correct the record.
With a connection.
Yeah, you were doing fine and you just cut out on us. Can you give us a call right back? Okay, he'll call us right back. That's fine. Yeah, I know, we don't want to miss this one. By the way, somebody in the chat reminded me of something that we both forgot. Carpenter's best movie, Halloween. All right, William Youngerman, you back with us? Oh, crystal clear. Yeah. Oh, we lost you again, William Youngerman. It was so good there for just a second. It was stereophonic, and then we lost you. Okay, you gotta call us back one last time. He'll call us right back. We just got a bad cell connection. Good morning. You're on the radio. Jim from New York.
Hey, good morning. How you doing? It's funny, and this ties in a little bit to the corona hoax. So you talked about Ric Flair. So his wife was like 15 or 20 years younger than him, was diagnosed with COVID. Well, some liberal busybody yesterday put a picture of Ric Flair up on social media making a big deal that he was at a drive-thru picking up food without a mask on. And his wife has coronavirus, so they're making a big ordeal out of that.
Does he still have the white hair, the blonde hair?
Oh yeah, he's still bleach blonde, yeah.
Yeah.
It's more of the same. It's, cancel culture and targeting everybody and all this other crap. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I know. Well, I was talking earlier, Jim. We're talking about the thing with Tucker. They've got a sexual harassment complaint against Hannity, Howard Kurtz, and Tucker. The rape charge against Ed Henry from Fox News. Fox News is under attack, and I believe that there is a move to put Harris Faulkner on in primetime to replace either Hannity or Tucker.
No, and I agree with
Steve Kane Show.
I think that, well, first of all, I watch more of One American because, except at nighttime.
You agree with what exactly, Jim?
I agree that, yes.
Steve Kane Show.
With Faulkner in prime time.
There, we got you. Are you there?
It's going to be either Tucker or Hannity. And my guess is...
a little bit. Let's try it one last time.
And you make a great point. There is absolutely no way that Biden is ahead of the polls.
No way. No way at all. Yeah. I agree with you, Jim. But we got to run. We got William Youngerman back, Steve, so we can get those numbers. I know you're itching for the numbers. William Youngerman.
Time today, Brian, up $22.40. Currently
Whoa.
trading at $1,840.20. cents the ounce. Silver even doing better. A big breakout yesterday. We saw silver up 55 cents, closing at $19.88. This morning it's up $1.21 at $21.10 for the silver. Big move. Biggest move we've had on silver in a long time. Platinum also doing very well, up $29 at $870.
Oh my!
And palladium up $101 at $2,112. So big move for the precious metals today. It's starting to go into hyperdrive as people find out that there's real shortages out there of all of the precious metals right now, and a lot of money is beginning to chase these metals.
Is that shortage? Is that what's responsible for these incredible highs today?
It's definitely a shortage. We're finding a great shortage of physical silver and gold and platinum right now, especially platinum and silver in big shortages. And some manufacturers are now 3, 4, 5 weeks and longer in waiting to get the product out.
Oh my goodness!
William, what did you say platinum was this morning?
Platinum is up $29 this morning, that's $870.
Wow.
You okay, Steve? Those Steve about fell out of the chair. Yeah, this is crazy.
Getting to where people are recognizing that it's the only real money left in the world, and there's so many trillions of dollars out there that have been placed into this liquidity situation that people are starting to look at where can I put some money that's actually safe and that is secure, that has some tangible value to it, rather than stocks that are trading for record prices and bonds that are still in zero. It's the best vehicle we can find right now.
Is this a time when people should think about moving from one metal to another? What would you recommend?
I've said all along that we need a basket of these different metals, and so we should just be positioned with all of them actually, maybe with the exception of palladium, which is a very thinly traded and also pretty high prices right now. But I certainly still see silver as a bargain, platinum as a bargain, gold I think we go to 3,000 within the next year.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, listen, give William Youngerman a call. His store opens up at 10 a.m. 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. Online, WilliamYoungerman.com. His store is located in Boca. The address 150 East Palmetto Park Road, which is just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road, on the first floor of the Bank of America building. All right, William Youngman, we will talk tomorrow. Oh, you too. I'm glad we got the lines cleared up. That was huge. By the way, another... With us? I don't remember so much good news in one day. Another Carpenter movie someone mentioned we forgot, Assault on Precinct 13. Not the remake, the original. That's a great movie.
No, it's not in the category with the fog.
You know, that was the first